Hey guys, Birds of a Feather here on A2DRadio.com, live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, BMW of AtlanticCity.com. And our first half here is brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Scanzano Sports bringing us our poll question, which you can find on Twitter. And you can find on Facebook, you can find on YouTube, all the good stuff where you can talk to us. Our poll question this week, guys, from ScanzanoSports.com. What is the biggest storyline heading into the Eagles versus Vikings NFC Championship game? Because we are going there, guys. The Jeff Fisher Bowl, Foles versus Case Keenum. Battle of the defenses. Eagles are underdogs once again. Or which team is the real team of destiny this season? Or is there other storylines? There's got to be, guys. There's so much going on.
So many.
What an exciting week. What an exciting weekend we just had. And it's going to be one of those weeks. I can't wait. I'm wishing it was Sunday already.
Well, you're going to the game.
And you know what? That just enhances it 1,000 times. But even if I wasn't going to the game, I'm just the moment that clock hit 00, I was already ready for Sunday night. I was ready for 6:40 kickoff time to start.
I don't know. I saw that picture. I think you were enjoying the moment.
I was. I lost my voice for a little bit. Me and Charles, we went a little crazy in the bar. Charles was on chairs. They handed Charles a little champagne bottle. He shook it up and sprayed it. True story.
And I don't drink. I rarely
First
drink.
time I've known this guy since we were 17 years old. And I never seen him drinking a lick of alcohol, and that was the first time I said. And he just chugged it down. It was great.
Nice.
It was one of those moments, guys.
Love it.
But welcome to the show, guys. Join us on Facebook. Join us on YouTube. We're on Periscope. We're on a lot of good stuff right now. How are you guys feeling? Because let's just run back to last week real quick. We pretty much summed it up that a race to 20. Didn't need to hit 20 points this week. We needed the defense to step up. The defense stepped up. And what we really needed was, we said, what's going to win the game? Which quarterback is going to be the quarterback to make the plays when you needed the plays the most? And what we saw was Nick Foles, especially that second half. A little rocky in the beginning, but the second half started, and Nick was just kind of in his zone at that point. And even the score, I don't think, dictates how well he really played in this game. And I think it showed, they talked about what Doug Peterson went back this week, looked at footage from what Foles did in 2013, what made him successful, and kind of worked the game plan and some of the play calling around those highlighted moments, those highlighted plays, and it showed. I mean, Nick looked very comfortable after a little bit of a rough start. I thought he looked much more accurate throwing the football. He looked more confident in finding guys who were open on the field. And, we know the game started, and how nuts were we going when Ajayi fumbled the football. But you know what? It was almost a blessing because he came back running with a purpose. He was a madman out on the field. He was, I don't know, I'd have to look up how many yards he averaged per carry. But I felt like from that point on, it had to be at least 4.5, 5 yards a carry. He was turning garbage into gold. There was one play where I think he was hit twice in the backfield. It was only like a 1.5 or 2 yard gain, but twice he should have got hit in the backfield, and he was just running with a purpose. How did you guys feel about it this week?
Nah, Charles, you can go first. Brother.
Well, I want to say that if you go back to last week, the way it played out was essentially the way I thought the formula for the Eagles to win had to be. You had to establish the run game first, and they did. Granted, they
did in spades.
Ajayi didn't finish with great numbers at the end of the game because in the second half they keyed in on the run and made Nick Foles beat them with the pass. But as you can see, he did. That was the big question mark. Can Nick Foles, when they start to take away the run, can he make the throws out of the RPO plays to take advantage of that? And he did. But the defense played well. I said last week, I think the defense is going to come out on fire. The only points they gave up were off the turnovers. Guys, the whole second half, the Falcons were shut out. The defense was phenomenal. All right, every level of the defense, especially the defensive backs, the defensive line, everyone played so well.
Secondary played very well.
Ajayi and that O-line run blocking, even Clement and Blunt, they played so well. Ajayi set that tone for that offense because when we needed to get a rhythm going, they gave the ball to Ajayi, I think like 3 or 4 straight times in the first quarter, and he like gashing them like 8 yards, 9 yards, 11 yards. Like it was so great to see. I was going nuts because that's exactly what we need. We need Ajayi to lead this offense and set the tone, and then when the time is right, Nick Foles has to capitalize, and that's exactly what happened.
So I have to come on here, and I have to eat some crow. And I'm prepared to do it. No, so I'm prepared to do it.
Phase 1 of crow eating now.
So I did predict. I said 2017 Falcons. That was my prediction. I want to point out that I wasn't saying they had no chance to win the game. I thought the Eagles could win the game. I thought, like we had mentioned, like you guys both mentioned, the formula was defense dominating, Nick Foles finding some kind of rhythm, some kind of consistency, and making enough plays. He didn't have to be great. He didn't have to be Carson Wentz. He just had to make enough plays to win the football game. Where I think my misstep was, I underestimated how dominant this defense could be, especially with that week off. I knew they'd come out fired up after that week off.
They looked fresh. Everybody
and
looked
they looked
fresh.
Unbelievable. The biggest thing I noticed was, man, their corner. That's the best game I've ever seen Jalen Mills play.
Yeah.
That's the best game I've ever seen Jalen Mills play. And Ronald Darby was also pretty damn good.
He was.
As a tandem, that's the best game they've played. Since Ronald Darby came back, that's the best game they played as a tandem. They were unbelievable. Julio, yeah, he got his. He got like 9 catches for a little over 100. But
it didn't feel like that.
Because you know what it was, Charles? No big plays.
Mm-hmm.
He was challenged on every single catch. Mm-hmm. Even that catch that got him to the 2-yard line before that last play of the game. Remember, they had to review that because Darby had his hand in there.
Wasn't a catch,
he almost knocked that damn thing out.
Yeah.
So I mean, so he had to work. They made Julio Jones work for every single catch he had. So that was a huge part of it was their corners. I grossly underestimated how dominant the defense would be. The other thing I grossly underestimated was this coach because. My God, Doug Peterson coached one hell of a game, completely outcoached the Falcons.
You know, blowouts and all, it might be the best game he's coached all season.
Honestly,
talk about the magnitude of the moment.
The magnitude of the moment and the way Nick Foles looks, and I don't want to bury Nick Foles for how bad he was, but he was really bad in those last 2 regular season games. He was terrible.
He was.
Definitely.
But Doug figured it out. He figured out the formula. He realized, this is what I have to do. He, like you said, Charles, he relied on J.J. early, and then he realized, hey, we have to mix up the game plan a little bit. They're going to start keying on him, and they did. They did the RPO. They inserted a lot of the RPOs, a lot of stuff that Nick was comfortable with when Chip Kelly was here. A lot of one read, get the ball out of his hands. That's the stuff where Nick Foles is very good at, and that's what they did. And man, we're going to make predictions, I'm sure, at some point about next week, but I'm just going to say this right now. That's the last time I am going to underestimate this coach or this defense. That's it. I can't. I'm not going to doubt him. I'm not doubting him for the rest of however long this season lasts. I'm not going to doubt him.
No, and even when you talk about, like we talked about, he's coming off of the Andy tree, which I think is a good tree to learn under, but he's not making the same mistakes that Andy made.
Yes.
He sticks with the running game. He's fitting, he's fitting the game plan around the quarterback. And he's not overexposing him, and he's not, putting him in positions where he's forcing footballs into double teams very much. You know what I mean? When I can see him week in and week out use the running game to establish a tempo in the game, it makes my heart warm. We haven't seen that in years.
Exactly.
What I love,
years.
He listens to the players. He listens to his veterans, and I love that because Andy. And with all due respect to Andy, who was, you got to say it, the best coach in this franchise's history. You have to say it.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I know towards the end of his career, it had gotten to a point where maybe like he had his ways and he was stuck in them. Well, I shouldn't say maybe. He definitely had his ways and he was stuck in them. And the way Doug listens to Malcolm Jenkins and he listens to Jason Kelly. The way he listens to his veterans, I think, has been so huge. The fact that they wanted to practice in pads this last week, and he said, like, if you think that's going to help us and you guys are all on board and you want to do this, I say, hell yeah, let's do this. And I just think that Doug, I can't say enough about how great Doug Peterson's been.
Yeah, and I've been, and the thing that I thought was this team, when it's gut check time, I use that term all the time, but I really, truly believe it. When it's gut check time and when their back is against the wall and everybody's against them, you see the most come out of these guys.
Exactly.
And I think that there was a complacency that we started to see. And against teams that they should have been playing better against, you started to see them play down to those teams. We talked about it. Darby, I believe. I might be wrong on that. Said that they didn't practice and prepare as they properly should. And now you're seeing it's like a rejuvenation now. Okay, like these guys. I mean, they're going out and they're taking that underdog mentality and they're getting awesome masks, which I'm sure we're going to touch on that. I love that, but like. It's not just a symbol with just a mask. I think that's the mentality of this team, that they're going in and they're like, all right, everybody can pick against us, whatever. We know what we are. We know what kind of leaders we have on this team and the talent we have on this team, and we can make the push to go further. And I'm very, very excited to see that. And I think that's also a testament to bringing in those veteran guys this season that we talked about throughout the year. Blunt. Bringing in Blunt, bringing in, Alshon Jeffrey, bringing in a Chris Long, who as the season has gone on has gotten better and better. And he's proven that year in New England where he really wasn't much of a contributor, I think it was just one of those years for him. You put him in a better system.
I was going to say, I think he fits this scheme much better than he fit New England's.
And I just feel like, Ellerby and all these guys who've won titles before, whether, Ellerby's like the sexiest name out there on the field and making all the plays. The guy's won a title before. He knows what it's like to be there.
Say the other name. Corey Graham.
Oh, God damn it. Corey Graham.
Corey Graham.
You're right, though. Corey Graham's another guy.
He's won a title and he's solid. He's not
Malcolm freaking Jenkins. I mean, the list goes on and on with the veteran leadership on this team.
Did you see what Malcolm Jenkins, his message to the team before the game? What he said? So not like a lot, but so he was asked what is he telling the younger guys, the guys who haven't been to the playoffs? And all he literally told them was, one, you don't know when you're going to get back here, so don't screw anything up. And the other thing is, don't try to make big plays. Don't be that guy. Don't think oh man, Jalen Ramsey had this pick to close out the game, so I need to do that. No, play
or Marcus Williams.
Yeah.
He said touch on that.
Yeah. He said just play your game, play within yourself. And the plays will come to you if you're doing your job and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Those plays are going to come to you. And I was like, wow, that actually struck me. I'm like, holy crap, that's amazing.
That's 100% true because I remember, and I hate to bring this guy up. One of my favorite Brian Westbrook quotes.
He doesn't hate bringing up Brian Westbrook.
No, because I know I'm going to get flack. But seriously, the 2006-2007 wild card playoff game, Eagles-Giants, when the Eagles in the beginning of the game got down, they were losing already 7-0, and the offense was flat. They showed Westbrook on the sideline. He was telling his guys, you're doing too much. Just stay calm, do your job, and we'll get back into it. I think with young guys, that's the thing. They see a big spotlight of the playoff game, and it's huge. Everything is magnified, and so they get too amped up, and they try to do too much, and they try to do more than what their job is. But what's the whole mantra of the Patriots?
Bill Belichick's famous words:
Do your job.
No
days off.
Yep, do your job. So I think that's a great. I didn't know he said that, but that's an accurate, that's a legit message that I think was good for Jenkins to get across to the team.
I'm going to hit Facebook because they're coming in. So, Greg Milakovic, what's up, fellas? What up, Greg? Battles of the defenses. Who blinks first? Hashtag kicking plays matter. Hashtag not a walk-off. Jim Kilchrist says, whoever wins the turnover battle, which is that's fair. I agree. Yeah. It's going to be a battle of defenses for sure. A lot of defenses here. James Wilder, defenses. This has been the story all season. Eagles have been overlooked and overshadowed by the Vikings, so let's see it. Dion Brown, oh man, fellas, I'm at a crossroad right now. Either A, listen to the best damn sports talk radio show, or B, watch my favorite show, which returns and just came on 3 minutes ago, The Flash.
Well, you can watch the Flash.
I mean, I was going to say, it's okay. I mean, if you either – well, listen, there's two options. You either listen to us later. You can always find our show.
No. You watch us now, and then you watch
the
Flash later.
You can chime in, man. You
watch us now and watch the Flash later,
Or I said,
Dion. Come on,
the other option would be the Flash is going to be on demand.
Absolutely.
So you can watch us and then.
Absolutely. James Wilder, not by the Vikings team. I meant the media focused heavily on the Vikings and didn't respect the name Eagles or what their defense was doing. Kevin Johnson says no one is giving Philly a chance to win again. I love that, by the way. I love it.
I'm fine with it.
Keep it going. Frank Vespi, defenses, both have been stellar this season. The battle is going to be intense and expect an ugly battle between them both.
That's fair.
Hashtag not a walk-off. Michael DeAndrea, going to be a tough game for both teams. Game is going to be won in the trenches, and the Eagles have the advantage. And Greg Malakovic said the same. DVR Dion. DVR Dion. And James Wilder also says, amen, Charles. Impenetrable defense second half. Michael Berry, Eagles will be in the Super Bowl. Eagles win 21-17. Interesting. We're going to get into our predictions.
A lot of points.
James Wilder, have a great show, guys. Nap time. Thanks, James. Enjoy your nap, buddy. Michael DeAndrea, the one thing I noticed is that is with all that rotating of the players, they look fresh. Any chance they let Dawkins suit up and come out of the tunnel? LOL.
Yes.
Yo,
just do
those
it.
hype videos, all of them were amazing.
Yeah.
Charles crying in Wawa.
I did. When they released the hype video, the Dawkins hype video on Saturday, I was at Wawa and I'm watching it, waiting for my sandwich, and literally I'm like choking up. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this at Wawa. I'm not gonna do this at Wawa. Are you serious?
So good. Phil Slums, Eagles defense is going to make a statement Sunday, and Miguel Roberto, Eagles are going to win convincingly. And Phil also says Eagles are not worried about the lucky Vikings. I wouldn't say that.
No, they're not lucky.
I wouldn't
They
say
are
that.
not
But
lucky.
I don't think that there's going to be any convincing win on either side, and we're going to dig more into it. But I do believe that the defense is going to play very well in this game.
Yeah.
And I do think they're going to put pressure on Case Keenum.
Someone made a great point. They said something about the rotation, the fresh pieces.
Yes.
That is, I would say, out of all.
Michael DeAndrea put that in there.
I'm sure we're obviously gonna get more into the matchup itself. But man, that might be the biggest advantage the Eagles probably have over the Vikings is depth. And Lord knows Eagles' depth has been tested this season. Mm-hmm. And I think that they actually have more depth than the Vikings.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Dion says, don't worry, fellas. I'm here. Greg told me to DVR it, so boom. Dion's in the building.
Yeah,
Let's see
yeah, Dion.
Yeah, come on, Dion. Let me know what you think about this week, Dion.
Dion is the Dion. Forget Deion Sanders. All right, so YouTube, JHot247 says,
I love my YouTube guys. What's going on?
Yep. He says Ed fucking Hockley, who was just announced as the ref for the game. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck
like
did
that.
we do to deserve this shit? This guy is gonna try to fuck us.
Well, it's not Pete Morelli.
This game is coming down to flags. Not as bad as Morelli, but still excessive and overbearing.
You know, Ed's got to get his flexes
Let
in.
them play. Do the right thing. Okay, this might be an unpopular thing, but even though he is excessive with flags at times, I do appreciate when he explains challenges and the decisions of the replay, because hardly any ref, they'll just go, the call is overturned or the play stands. Hockley will come out there and he'll be like, after further review, and then explain what happened and why they reached that decision. And as a fan, you appreciate it because you're like, okay, that's the reason why. All right, you can understand. But I kind of always appreciate that about Hockley. He's willing to go in depth, and so, but I really hope he doesn't flag. I feel like he's gonna flag Mills like 500 times.
Eddie Muscles needs to stuff his flags up his ass and keep him away this game.
Eddie Muscles.
David Roska, Eagles' time is now to win the Super Bowl. David Roska.
Yeah, my man Roska.
Khalid, we have an advantage. We get an extra day off. I guess. I mean, maybe a slight advantage. I don't know.
In a sense of fresher legs, I think especially you talk about the grind this time in the year, I think every day matters.
Technically, too, you think about it, it's an extra day to prepare because you know as soon as the Vikings won that game, they threw out all the Saints tape and we're like, all right, cool.
We're done,
Vikings, let's dig in.
Yep.
So they definitely got to jump on the Vikings.
Yeah. And then G Herbo says, I think it was the Cowboys game they played like that. Where they I'm not sure what we were talking about where they played.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I forget.
Just remind us which game, buddy.
Yeah.
Tom Ford, let's go. Go Birds. Yes. I'm liking the enthusiasm. It's great.
Better see a lot of enthusiasm.
Phil Slums, the Eagles' defense is what Sports Talk will be talking about Monday. I believe that too. I think the defense on both teams is going to be the narrative of this game. For me, it's definitely that. I like the storyline coming in. I know you were going to touch on that a little bit more. How it's kind of understated at this point. I mean, I could see a reason for all these to be a point.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I love the underdog mentality. I talked about it last week, and I want to just keep driving with that. You know, ESPN picked us at 59% to win the Super Bowl now. No, I don't want you to do that. Put us back to like 19%. Keep me there. I'm fine with that.
It's funny though too, because like I guess I somewhat understand why the Vikings are favored, but at the same time, so the Vikings are favored because they have the best defense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're favored. But if you look at the Eagles' defense, is it really are they really that far off?
No, it's
No,
not.
I really
not.
don't think they are.
It's
We have a better run defense.
Yeah.
than
I'd
them.
say the only position, again, if we're going to go like position, break everything down, the only place they have a definitive advantage is at linebacker. That's it. That's the only spot where I'd say, yeah, they definitely have an advantage. I wouldn't give an advantage across the defensive line. I wouldn't give an advantage to their secondary. Harrison Smith is a better player than anybody in the Eagles secondary.
But then if you're going,
But then
The
you got
overall-
then you got Xavier Rhodes,
Xavier
who's
Rhodes,
also a really
yes,
good
and then,
stud.
but Trey Waynes has
Trey
struggled
Waynes, yeah,
this
Trey
year.
Waynes, and then
their
Tadeo
nickel
got
corner, Mackenzie Alexander struggled this year.
struggling.
They have weaknesses. Like
yeah, so
they have. I think they have. I think that's the big thing to me. They have more weaknesses than the Eagles do.
That's true. I mean, it's definitely.
Well, I think too. If
good
I'm
point.
looking matchup wise, I'm looking at. You're right. To me, it's one and either two or three defensive wise, especially talking about run defense, stuffing up the middle and all that. They're going to force them to have to throw the football. But what I feel when I look at skill positions and then I look at the matchup on the other side, offenses against defense, I feel more confident, even though they have a lot of weapons on their team. I mean, their wide receivers are pretty damn good. Let's
really
be honest.
Good. Really good. Arguably the best receiver duo in the NFL. This
But
year.
I feel like our wide receivers our defensive backs are more equipped to make plays on their wide receivers than theirs are in regards to ours.
No,
I get your point, but I
I
would say
feel
I'd
that way.
probably
I
disagree.
feel more confident
So you're
that
saying you feel like our
I feel like
wide
our
receivers-
offense overall, put it this way, our offense, I feel like matches up better against a really good defense than theirs does.
I would.
That's just me,
disagree.
and I also feel, and I'm going to stick to it, I still feel like Foles is better than Case Keenum, and Foles, I think, with a little more pressure, can make more plays than what I think Keenum would do if our defense is rushing him out of the pocket,
See, this
making
is-
him make plays.
This is where
That's probably ultimately where
This
my
is
point
one
is
of
I
my-
feel like Foles can make more plays with his weapons
then
than
you
what
know,
I think Keenum will be able to do if the
This is what
defenses are
scares
pressuring
me
them.
because I've been saying this for months. I believe that the Minnesota Vikings have the best wide receiver. duo.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly believe
It's
so.
hard to
Diggs
argue
and
with that.
Thielen,
Diggs and
Jesus.
Thielen, you're talking about two. I personally believe they're two number one receivers. Both of them are number one X receivers in the league, and they're on the same team. They're playing opposite each other. Like you have to pick your poison. Now, do our corners skill wise can they match up and limit them? Yes, they can, but they have to play as well, if not even better than what they did against the Falcons. They have to play that way.
Oh,
If not better, I'm
100%.
telling you, because Julio is a superstar, top 2 wide receiver in the league. We understand that, but when it's different when you have elite talent on both sides.
Yeah.
So you can't just focus on one because
It's an
the
even
whole game-
matchup
yeah,
in a lot of
because
ways.
It really
the whole
is.
time-
They're
the
very
whole
evenly matched
time-
teams.
the defense, you kept hearing, like, when it came late in the game, the defense knew they were going to go to Julio. They're going to go to Julio. But then for the Vikings, who are they going to go to? They can go to either one. And their tight end is no slouch
Kyle Rudolph
either.
is a damn
Kyle
good
Rudolph
tight end,
is a good tight end. And so I don't – they
He
worry
is,
me.
but I'll
I
take
think-
our tight ends overall. And Ertz
Oh, yeah. I
as
take
a
our
one,
tight
and I'll
end.
take our
But what I'm
tight
saying
end
is-
core
Again,
over.
yeah.
What I'm saying is with Xavier Rhodes – and then you have Harrison Smith, who's going to come in, and he's probably going to guard Ertz. That's a tough matchup for Ertz. I think Xavier Rhodes will probably come down and will most likely shadow Jeffrey. All right, and then Torrey Smith will be matched up.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with Trey Waynes trying to stay down the field with Torrey Smith.
Who
And
can
I'm
be
okay
beat.
with
And I think
whoever they throw on Nelson Aguilar.
This is
They
one,
often match up because
and
an
our
article
running
I have
game
to
is
show
the
you.
difference.
An article I really have to show you is really done well done in The Athletic by Ted Wynn, where it's he broke down Minnesota's defense. And the one thing that they kind of do that's interesting is they play a lot of man, and what they do is they'll match up their safeties against wide receivers. So if you get Zendejo in the slot lined up against Aguilar, that's
a matchup you win.
Aguilar's got to win that every
if,
single time.
If Sendejo's even out, I forget the backup safety is like something Harris, I think, who's not even that. He's not the type of safety you can move down.
Right.
So that might limit their defense.
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of interested in too. But I will say,
But
the
difference is the running game.
Was-
we have the
Hold on.
running
I
back
was about
core
to get
that
to
we
that.
have is
I
the
was about to-
difference.
I was about to get to that.
That's
but yeah.
why I believe, as far as skilled players on the field, maybe they have the better wide receivers, but we, to me, hands down, have the better running back core where that's going to open
Not
up
even
more
close.
opportunities for our wide receivers, as opposed to Case Keenum is probably going to be forced to.
Here's
on,
here real quick.
Because Tom put on here.
Go ahead.
Tom Ford says, Eagles pass rush is going to have a field day against the O-line.
Yep, that's where I was
Yes.
going.
And he said, very even matchup all the way across the board. With that being said, I'll give home field advantage, the difference maker, Eagles win.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the difference. The pass rush is going to make a huge difference on their end. And I think with us, our running backs are more equipped also to, even if there is pressure, they can create plays and drive for those extra couple yards.
The lines are where they have the advantage. I think that when we're talking about matchups of what we like,
Mm-hmm.
I like the Eagles' offensive line against the Minnesota Vikings defensive line as opposed to vice versa.
Yes.
Not to take anything away from Minnesota's defensive line, which is really, really good, but I think the Eagles is better, and it matches up really well with the Vikings' offensive line, which is greatly improved, which is part of the reason why they've won 14 games this year.
What I didn't know,
13 games.
what I didn't know until after the Vikings won on Sunday was the splits, home and away splits of their run defense. They're at home, the Minnesota run defense, their average of opponent yards per rush attempt is 2.8. So it's elite. It's crazy good. But away, their opponent's yards per rush attempt is 4.3.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. And then
Yard
ours
and a
at home is 3.4. All right. And if you want to go to opponent rushing yards per game, at home Minnesota is 55 yards total per game, but away 112.
One thing,
So
That's pretty telling.
That's pretty
Yeah.
telling because what? Okay, so because since Sunday, I've been trying to wrap my head, trying to find ways we can win this. Where's the weakness? So what this is telling me is you take the depth issue that Minnesota D-line has. Okay, so what that tells me is, okay, you got to make them tired. You got to get them tired, and you got to pound like consistently throughout the whole game. Get them tired. Once they do that, I think that's what attributes to them being to them on the road giving up a lot more yards on the ground. I think it has to do with attrition. Now, you do that, and then all of a sudden, you give the defense, you keep them fresh. Now, when the defense is on, like what you said, our D-line can match up well against our offensive line. And Case Keenum, his quarterback rating when facing pressure is abysmally low. Okay. Now, would I blitz? I wouldn't blitz often. I think someone had pointed that up. I wouldn't blitz often because I think Keenum does I think when I was looking at the stats, he does a good job when the defense is blitz because he will quickly find the open receiver and find the weak spots in the defense when they're bringing more pressure. But if you can get home with 4, and he has no time and he can't spot out those holes, I think that's the key. That's the key for our defense.
During the break, I'll look up because you're talking about splits. Keenum's numbers outdoors as opposed to indoors is night and day.
Yeah.
He is terrible outdoors.
You know what it is?
As opposed to inside of a dome somewhere.
You saw it too on Sunday, to your point. When he was under pressure, he made one really bad throw that was
Really
intercepted.
bad, yeah.
And then not that long after that, made another really bad throw that probably should have been intercepted. Thielen made that unbelievable, miraculous
crazy,
catch.
yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at it, a lot of things had to go right for Case Keenum. I mean, not to say that Nick Foles didn't have a lot of luck by a ball hitting off someone's freaking knee and landing in Torrey Smith's lap. But my point, really, with any quarterback, if you get pressure on him, you're going to force him into bad decisions. But Case Keenum, I definitely think that's what you have to do. You have to force him. You have to get pressure on him. You have to force him into making bad decisions.
Yeah, I think that that's gonna be the key. There is we're gonna have to get him uncomfortable, force him to make plays, and I don't think he's got the capabilities. And again, you look at the splits, and again, I will look up the numbers when we take our break, and I will let you know. Unless did Ryan send that to me? Maybe. No?
What a guy!
I found something
he found something else though, which is good.
Might find that interesting.
What did he say? What did he show? Oh, I had this saved. This is what I'm talking about. His passer rating
over that.
under pressure during the divisional round was 5.10.
It's not good.
5.10. We're talking about passer rating here, not QBR. We're talking about passer rating. It's 5.10.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Just look at the drop-off between under pressure and then when he's kept clean. It's absolutely astounding.
That's why if the Eagles are going to win this game, they have to play near flawless, as in no turnovers. The defense has to force turnovers, and I honestly believe the defense and or special teams has to put up at least one touchdown.
Yeah.
And the offense has to control that clock to keep our defense, especially our defensive line, as fresh as possible. That is the form. That is the only way. If any of that, in my opinion, if any of that falters, I don't know how we win this game, because at other spots, the Vikings defense is so elite, and they will beat us. They don't mind playing a grinded out defensive battle, and we haven't faced a team like that at all this season. That'll go toe to toe with us on defense. So I think that's the formula we need to beat the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going to get back to Facebook here. Kevin Johnson, we have more weapons on offense than they do. Their defense is going to have a fit trying to keep up with us. Bradford is better than Case. We destroyed him last year. If we get to him, it's over. Phil Slom says Vikings have 2 good receivers only. Eagles defense is getting 5 sacks and 3 turnovers. Trust me, Eagles defense will outshine the Vikings defense. Dion, he chimed in. Here we go, Dion. I'd use every tight end we have on the roster with their starting corner and protocol. Harrison might have to pick up a lot of slack for lack thereof, which works out in our advantage potentially. Harrison isn't Ed Reed by any means at that position. Plus, that will open up a lot for Nelson as well. He also says we also have to keep an eye on 97 from the Vikings. I'm at a loss for his name right now, but he's a playmaker up front. Maybe I should put the beers down.
That's one thing. That's one thing. Like Everson Griffin's going to be matched up on Vaitai, who is, as we say, the liability on our offensive line. So
I will say this:
Tom says, put the hurry up offense back in play. The Vikings D line will be cooked.
I think it's good to mix it in.
I agree.
I wouldn't run a full
I
tempo, but I think it's definitely good to mix it in.
Yeah.
But to what you were saying, Charles, Vaitai was terrible in the first half. He got pushed back a lot. He looked like a completely different player in the second half.
Yeah.
It's weird. I feel like with him, it's got to be a confidence thing with him.
It has to be,
because he's got great size. He's not as stiff. Like, he's a fairly athletic kid.
Yeah.
But sometimes he just gets terrible leverage. Sometimes and just lets guys get in on him.
Yeah. His feet
around.
stop moving, and then he just gets caught. And I think if you get, I think that's also why you have to run the ball, because if you get him moving forward and you build confidence in him early in the game,
great point.
He'll settle in.
I just think it comes down to as soon as he gets one really good block that can help the team, I think then he's good to go. I just think it's just getting to that point, and unfortunately in that game it took him a little bit to finally get that extra block.
Yeah.
And once he finally did on that, I believe it was the Ajayi run where it looked like he was going to get 4 yards, ends up getting the first down, ends up getting like 12.
Yeah.
Pancake the dude's ass.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing
I love that video floating around about literally every single line had one pancake in the game. This dude get like 3 on one play.
And the thing that, a lot of people forget about him, it's just because it takes a while to show. When he gets going, he can move around. Like, it's not like he's just there. He's not a statue. It's just all about once he times it perfectly. Listen, man, I'm not going to say he's a key player, but he's great. I mean, he's great to have as opposed to, someone that's not as high of a quality as him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know
Yeah.
he's just a backup, but still.
He's okay. I mean, if he plays like he did Sunday, they're going to be okay. They're
Yeah,
gonna, if he
that's
plays,
it.
well, I should say, if he plays like he did in the second half Sunday, much like Nick Foles, they're
And
going to be fine.
it helps him the fact that he has 4 studs
Oh, absolutely.
along with
Especially
him.
speaking again, Wisniewski, man. Oh my God,
The difference he
that
made,
guy was ridiculous
I
on
think
Sunday.
the
He's throwing people around.
that
left and
screen
right.
pass, the Jai screen
Ah,
play
dude.
in the early fourth quarter, when freaking he's running down, Jai's behind him, right? And then Wisniewski, he literally throws Ricardo Allen to the side, and a second after that, he picks up the block on Keanu Neal. Like, I was like, holy shit! And then
He took out
and
both
then
their
Ajay-
safeties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of their safeties are
It's
just done,
insane.
and then Ajay
Gotta go.
runs.
Boop.
Yep.
You
It
know
was
what's
nuts.
You know what's scary too? All week we were talking about, win the turnover battle, win the turnover battle. Some people, like I was saying, the only way they would win against the Falcons was to win the turnover battle. They clearly didn't do that. So to me, that boosts my confidence looking at this team because they lost it 0-2. They gave up 2 turnovers. They didn't cause any turnovers. They still won the
They
freaking
still
game.
won.
And that's how the Falcons scored all their points. Too.
Exactly. And
So
then
imagine, that's another perspective of how dominant the defense
Yes.
was.
Yes.
They scored all their points off of turnovers with short fields.
well, let's look at it. All right, Matt Ryan or Case Keenum, who's better?
Well, Matt Ryan, not even close.
Okay. Well, who's the better wide receiver tandem or core out of those two?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Running backs.
Thielen and Diggs.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely Atlanta.
Yeah.
By
2-1.
far.
2-1.
Yeah.
Only
The
give up
line-
10
and
points.
I'd say the lines are a push.
Yeah.
I'd say
I agree.
Alex Mack is better than anybody. Although I really like what is I can't Pat F line.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
a rookie. I really like him a lot.
What's the big thing is the health of that one defensive player on the Vikings. I believe he's in concussion protocol.
Yes,
He went-
Sandeo.
Yeah.
Safety.
Yeah,
That's what I was
safety.
talking about. He's the key. That because if you have, I was trying to say this earlier. If you have Trey Waynes on Torrey Smith, and I know Nick Foles, if it's windy, I know he can't throw a deep ball. We all kind of saw that his deep ball.
It's supposed to be
flooded.
nice out on Sunday.
It's supposed to be
though.
nice out.
Yeah, like
but
50 or
here's the
something.
thing: if Sandeo's out, that's another weak point.
Absolutely.
You can attack that safety with if somehow you can get matched up where you have, and I look like I'm playing like chess right now. If you can have Trey Waynes on Torrey Smith, and then you have that safety Smith there as a replacement, and he's playing cover 1. Say he's playing single high, right? You take that shot. You take that shot because Trey Waynes can get beat by that double. He can get
absolutely.
caught. He can get caught, and Torrey Smith can still fly. So you take that shot. I think that's another key thing. If Sandeo's out, that's another factor.
That was the one, the article I was telling you about. What they also highlight, they showed that's Trey Waynes is susceptible to getting beat deep, and they showed like a play against the Steelers where the way they run their defense, basically, if Trey Waynes gets beat, the safety has man coverage. There's nobody over
There's
top.
no one,
So if Trey Waynes gets beat, he's beat.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. Going back to that Falcons game, who's one player on the Eagles side of the ball that didn't have the best of games or a bad game in their standards during that game that needs to have, I'm not going to say a great game, but has to perform better this week?
That's a really. I mean, I guess Zach Ertz wasn't really a big part. I mean, he got a couple of catches, but he wasn't maybe as big of a part as I would have liked. And I thought coming in when Nick Foles took over, I thought Zach Ertz would be a really big part of things because that was the only guy he had any kind of real chemistry with, dating back to his first time.
It hasn't proven at this point. as
No,
of yet.
no. So that would be the one guy maybe, and it's not even that he necessarily played poorly.
No.
It's just that I would like to see.
I think
I'd
their
like to see a
coverage,
little more.
their coverage linebackers.
Oh,
were-
for sure.
were really
Deion
good.
Jones, yeah,
And the
Campbell.
The tough part is even if the Vikings linebackers are no like Anthony Barr can cover. Like he is a good linebacker.
absolutely.
Anthony
Anthony
Barr.
Harris is the.
Anthony Harris, there you
is
go.
the,
Yeah,
safety
that's
you were
our
thinking of.
safety. So Anthony Barr, if he's matched up on Zach Ertz, that's still a tough matchup for Ertz.
It is.
But if Ertz can come up and have a big game, that'll be huge. That will be huge. I just don't know. I don't know if you can rely on it because it's either going to be Harrison Smith or it's going to be Anthony Barr.
I'll show you that. I
don't
can
know that
again.
I don't know that anybody had a bad game.
No.
It's really
Yeah.
a tough question.
Yeah.
I mean, there are guys who maybe their names weren't called as often as they
Garrett
usually
Blunt
are.
couldn't really get it going.
Well, I mean,
But he
he
had a
scored
couple-
a touchdown.
yeah, I mean, he had a- he
got
scored-
He
Yeah,
pushed for it. He played.
yeah,
he filled a role.
But but overall, I mean, he averaged like
Yeah.
he literally
No,
averaged
yeah.
like a yard
Yeah.
a
No, you're right.
carry
Yeah.
overall. I mean, he.
the one
I'm reaching here.
I'm
Yeah,
absolutely.
But that's your point. Yeah,
in
I get
fairness,
it.
though,
Yes,
that's
exactly.
the two names that would probably come out. I want to see a little more from LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz, I would like to hear his name called a little more, but I agree.
You wouldn't
I mean,
go
I
out and
know
say
two-
they had a bad game.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
anybody did.
Yeah.
For me, and by no means, I don't want anyone at home to think I'm complaining or calling out Doug or by anything. This is me reaching for something in that game.
Yeah.
Is it just me? But do you guys worry also that when they got into the red zone around the end zone in those few situations, they never threw the ball into the red zone, into the end zone? Excuse me. They never did. It's like. And I'm
To
looking
me,
at
that's like an old Andy thing. Andy would
Yes,
always dump the
because
ball
you
in
have
front of the end
Alshon
zone.
for a reason. You know what I mean?
And that run to Clement that wound up being a fumble, I didn't
Yeah.
understand that play call.
Yeah,
in the
that was
slightest.
a little iffy.
I didn't understand.
And
that
the other
play
one,
call
I
in the
believe it was
slightest.
second and goal on one of the drive where they only got the field goal, and they passed the ball. Like they're running the ball great,
Right.
and then as soon as they call timeout, first play is a pass that almost gets intercepted. It gets batted down by one of the defensive linemen. And I'm thinking, like, if you're going to pass go into the end zone, throw up a ball that only
Yeah.
Alshon can get or Ertz or something.
Yeah, try to get. You could have because I'm not mistaken. I believe that the Falcons don't really like match up their corners. They kind of just play sides.
Yeah.
So you could have probably got Alshon on Alford.
Alford, yeah.
So he's obviously much shorter. So that probably and to your point, Ryan, like what you could have done is if it's a fade, you're telling Nick Foles throw the ball where only Alshon can get it, or it's going out of bounds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's a
that's
much safer play.
That's the one thing I really need to see them do more of, or something at all, because they didn't do it at all. But other than that, I mean, that's just me reaching.
And that's
You know
fine.
what I mean?
Hey, listen, there's always something that you want to look at and say, can we do this better going into this week? And obviously, I agree with those.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit here. You hit there? Cool. All
I
right, we're going to do
got a
Facebook
bunch, yeah.
real quick. Quincy George, Rocky Balboa, ring that bell, ding, ding. Michael DeAndrea follows up with a ding, ding. Ding, ding. Phil Slom says that play won't work against the Eagles' defense. Oh, he says Vikings won't pull the lucky stuff against the Eagles' defense. That game would have been over. Eagles' defense won't play that. Well, that's because it was a terrible play
by Marcus Williams.
by Marcus Williams. Kevin Johnson says Torrey Smith. I'm assuming Torrey Smith is his pick of somebody that needs to step up. I can see it, but I mean, again, I think there's so many intangibles that come with a guy like Torrey Smith. I mean, I don't think he hurt us. And again,
Well, clearly not. In the first play of the game, he drew a big pass interference.
every single play, every single
smart
game,
play.
Torrey Smith gets the first pass of the game.
Yeah.
Every single game. I'm okay with it, but
And I feel like every other game he gets at least one pass interference call.
yeah.
Yeah.
Deion Brown, did you hear the Vikings' new stadium is called a bird killer because of how high the windows are? And birds keep flying into the stadium. Shake my head. How ironic now that comes out in the media. Hashtag bullshit. Hashtag they hate us.
Doesn't matter. We ain't going to their stadium.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in 3 weeks we'll be.
Well, yeah. That's a different.
Yeah.
This week.
And-
I'm
and-
not getting ahead of myself, Charles.
Yeah, and
Charles.
the thing with it too is when I believe we posted on A2D where somebody's talking about I hope the Eagles fans are ready for the Vikings fans traveling.
God, what a
Guess
joke.
what? Come on in, motherfuckers. Come on in and step in.
Put it up this morning.
Oh,
It's like,
God.
dude, first off, have you seen an Eagles game? Have you seen an Eagles away game? Like, we take over other people's stadiums.
Right.
We
You
had
don't-
two
you don't
home. We had two home games in LA this
In LA,
year.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't do that to us.
Yeah.
Like, it's the other way around, my friend.
Exactly.
No, it was ridiculous. And
They sold out by what? 10:01 today.
15 seconds.
It's insane.
15 seconds.
And then Dion adds in, I think Ertz hasn't been the factor he once was because of the quarterback. Wentz saw the field. Even on the run, scramble, plus Wentz has a quicker release of the ball than Foles has. Even as a rookie last season, I do not remember Carson patting the ball as often as Foles does right before he does, which we talk about
He
that.
didn't do a ton of that.
He didn't do it as much, which is
Yeah.
good.
Which
we
again,
know
the
that's one of
RPOs help.
things.
The one read,
Yeah,
get it
one
out.
read,
That
get it out.
helps.
Yeah, but he definitely does that, and when he does it too, he doesn't always set his feet, which drives me a little bit nuts.
Because then your throws
God.
completely
Yeah,
inaccurate.
let's get over to YouTube.
All right, you two. I didn't forget about you. Todd Womack says Philly Dilly, guys.
Dilly dilly.
Let's see how they throw in the link. We already know they're not running on us. I think misdirection and screenplays will open up their defense. Real quick on the screens,
Good
you guys
point.
notice that we use screens a lot more than we had been.
Use them on back-to-back plays.
Yeah, back to back, which is I thought genius because I've been screaming for more screenplays all year. So I do think they will. I think they will mix in different wrinkles of screenplays. I think you can start to maybe they can. I think they're going to use more crack screens and maybe cross screens this game. But I mean, we'll see. I think either way, you have to keep using the screen game.
Yeah.
Use it. You used it because they're telling you
They're an
Ajayi
aggressive
and
team
Clement,
too.
yes.
They're an aggressive team with a really
Exactly.
fast front. So that's what That's
Exactly.
what a screen game works with.
Ajayi and Clement can run those screens. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Alexander Verrucci says, "Love the home love." Juan RC says, "I might be a homer, but Eagles win 20-10." Jacob Bloss, and I wanted to touch on this. Jacob Bloss says, "Trust me, guys, Diggs is good, but we can take him out of the game. Had him on my fantasy team this year. Dude was so inconsistent. Stud 1 week and completely gone the next. I'm more worried about Adam Thielen." What I will say to that is, Diggs is inconsistent, but as a fan of Diggs, it's because he's hurt, and he does get hurt a lot. But Diggs' inconsistencies have been because he's hurt. When he's on the injury report, if you go look it up, his numbers drop dramatically when he's on the injury report. But when he's fully healthy, he is arguably as good as Thielen. And I'm telling you.
I personally would actually say he's better than Thielen personally. But
So it's arguable, but I'd say they are the same talent level. That's what makes them so scary. So I still wouldn't. I see what you're saying, Jacob, but Diggs is healthy. And I'm telling you, he is a scary, scary wide receiver. JHot247 says, "Put it this way. That game was so bad regarding fuck-ups. All three running backs fumbled the ball. The muff punt, Foles almost throwing 2 interceptions, that this game by default will be much better. So I'm expecting a higher scoring game. I think Foles is infused with confidence after that win, and so is the team. They'll ride that and put up some stats."
yeah, higher scoring. I think they're going to score 17 points today.
Yeah,
17,
I still
13-17.
think this is the same as last week. It's a race to
Ugly.
20.
Ugly.
Todd Womack says, "Don't forget Rhodes is banged up." I don't. Do you know the severity of his injury? Because he
I
did come
actually
back
don't.
in. He played, but I don't know how banged up he is.
I think it's the same like last week we were talking about the Julio stuff and like
Yeah.
he showed up on the injury report. It's like if he's out there, I'm expecting him to be
yeah
a stud.
to be still
himself.
as he is. Jihad 24/7 comes out again, says, "The refs scare me because they will be seen for this title game. They ain't gonna let them play like last week. Has to be clean as fuck. And even then, they still throw them. So expect flags." Jacob Bloss and Vitae and Mills have to have a game like they did against Falcons as well, especially Vitae. I
Yep,
agree.
I am
definitely
worried
agree with
about the
that.
flags this week.
I am worried about the
I'm
flags.
very worried about the flags this
Um,
week.
Great teams overcome the flags, guys.
And
just saying.
the majority of the times this season, when that has been an adversity for us, we have
We have
overcome
overcome
The
them.
Carolina game is the big one that stands out to me.
it. Absolutely.
That was a terribly
Yeah.
That was a
officiated game.
disgrace.
And it was
Terrible.
terribly officiated in Carolina's favor, and the Eagles still won that
Yeah.
game pretty easily.
37 penalties to 2, I think. Or
Yeah, something
like that.
insane like
Something
that.
something.
It was a really
Um,
poorly officiated game.
So Damn Clutch says, "Why not us, gentlemen? Why not us? I know we can win.
Yeah.
This is what being a fan is about. Suspend disbelief and get it done, birds."
Listen, us against the world.
Yes.
All of us. I want all of us to get on board. Fuck everybody else outside, though. I want them to hate us. At least until, if that moment comes and we're in the Super Bowl and it's the Patriots, then I want everybody
Well,
to
yeah,
shit all over Tom
that's the way
Brady.
that- that's
I
the
want
way
the
that would
whole
go,
nation
yeah.
to shit on Tom Brady. But up until that point, absolutely, I love being the underdog. I
That's-
have all
yeah.
season because we played better.
Yeah.
Joel
This team
Embiid
is
has
so
that
much more fired up.
Philly versus everybody. Joel Embiid always rocks
Absolutely.
that
Love
hoodie.
it.
I love it. But there's no reason to call yourself a homer to have a little bit of confidence this week.
Nah, not at all.
We're playing a very good team with a very good defense, and they definitely have weapons. But we have the team that can go up against them. We're very similar in a lot of ways, and if anything,
similar.
the
Both
difference
teams
makers
are in the same spot. They're
similar,
both
yes.
in the championship. If anything, the Eagles are in the better
Yeah,
spot because they are at home.
and because of the running back situation. And I believe, and maybe this is me being a homer, but I don't think it is. I think Doug
Better than Mike Zimmer?
will coach better. I think Doug
Yeah.
has coached overall better this
I agree with
season.
you.
And I think Doug, as far as knowing his running backs and putting his players in a position to succeed,
I think by
feel
a
like
hair.
Doug.
I think
Listen,
by a hair.
I'm
think
not
by a
sitting
hair.
Mike
here-
Zimmer's a really good. He turned that
Oh,
team
he is.
around.
He
That
did,
team, that
absolutely.
that defense was garbage before he got
Yeah.
there. He turned that team around.
is.
So I mean, I don't know that there is a distinct coaching advantage on either side. I think both coaches are excellent coaches.
My feeling is that I just know, and listen, maybe I'm going by what I see week in and week out, and seeing the adjustments this week with Nick Foles, I feel like he now has his thumb on the pulse of each player and what's going to position them to succeed much more than possibly any other coach in the league. And there's a reason why Doug's name is out there as Coach of the Year.
Absolutely.
Much more than Zimmer. So I think that's just how I feel. Yeah. I feel like we have a little bit of the coaching advantage.
Trevor P.
Don't you shit on me.
I'm just
Trevor P.
respectfully disagreeing.
Don't worry about the refs. They tend to let them play physical in the playoffs, but they might be going for
but we got Eddie Muscles out there. He's got to flex.
Hosting the bowl. Yeah. J-Hot 24/7 again. Because the media is banging this drum of the Vikings being the first team to host a Super Bowl, this shit is about ratings and money. The refs might be heavy on the birds with flags to advantage the Vikings. Remember, this shit is still a business.
Listen, I'll say this. I'll say this.
No,
what I heard, I can't tell you how many times, even before the end of that game this week, I heard it the day before. That the conspiracy theories that the NFL is rigged and that they want to see Minnesota play in Minnesota, and then the end of that play that's one of those things that's been feeding the controversy of that again. I don't buy into that shit.
No, there's a rookie who made a shitty play.
Oh.
He had a hell of a year, and he made one bad play. That's it.
And it's a shame because that's what that's probably what he's gonna be remembered for.
Yep.
That and Twister.
Yeah. One more comment I would, because they were going, everyone was going back and forth about the refs, hockey league pretty much. But Bleeding Green just posted this comment, and I wanted to touch on it because it has to do with my answer for the poll question. NFL Network did a poll, which I saw too, and I was talking to you about, Chrome. NFL Network did a poll. Who does the nation want to see win the Super Bowl? Vikings were at 38%, Jags 33%, Eagles 16%, Pats 13%. It really is us against the world.
Everybody roots for what they consider the underdog, though, and not that Minnesota is necessarily an underdog, but they look at a guy like Case Keenum and they're like, that guy's the underdog. For whatever reason, we don't get the same respect with Nick Foles, and it's Philly, right?
Well,
we have a whole song about how everyone hates us, no one likes us, and we don't care.
Yeah.
Because we're from Philly.
I think what it is I think for my pick for the biggest storyline going into the game is which team is a team of destiny. And I feel like the nation sees the Vikings as a team of destiny. I think that play that
everybody buys into every storyline.
Yeah,
that's put
I think
out
the
there,
Diggs play, like it captivated everyone. Like that is the talking point of the whole weekend, possibly of the whole playoffs, possibly of the whole season. So everyone watching football was captivated by that play. So now you have people who are just football fans or just fans of other teams. When you're talking about who they want to win, they want the Vikings to win. They're like morale of the nation. If this is, obviously it's just one poll by one website, but if the nation really does feel that way, I think that's what it is. But for me, I'm totally fine with that.
And Phil Slums makes a really good point here. I believe in intangibles. He puts the Eagles have 8 Super Bowl champs on their team.
Yeah.
That's fucking leadership right there.
I agree.
That's this time of year is when you need that. And I don't know how many Minnesota has, but I would venture to guess and bet that they don't have 8 Super Bowl championships or champions on their team.
I have a fantastic referee statistic.
Oh,
yes.
God. Is
so
it about Eddie Muscles?
you can actually do this.
Listen
I didn't know
guys.
this existed. On Pro Football Reference, you can actually look up referees.
I love Pro Football
We're
Reference.
gonna
actually look
this
up
is going to be a
Pro
part of the
Football
showdown. We're
Reference.
going to look
By
this
the
up
way.
every week now.
So listen. So in Ed Hockey's the games that his crew has done, 54.88% of the time, the home team has won. Not only that, that is the highest percentage of his entire career that the home team has won games that he has officiated. So take that for whatever the hell that's worth. Wow. That's there. As far as penalties per game, though, I will say this. It looks like his crew calls 7% more penalties than the average crew. So
it's going to be raining
yellow.
again.
Whatever any of those numbers could mean absolutely nothing, but that's what they are.
So Michael DeAndre asks, what was more impressive, the catch that Diggs made or the Eagles' goal line stance? Fair question.
Okay. All right.
I think that the goal line stance, because the play that Diggs made was fortunate
so.
enough that somebody made a really shitty decision on the field, which was Marcus Williams.
It was also just one play.
One play.
The goal line stance was 4.
Absolutely.
yes.
And it takes a lot more to go right in terms of that. I just think the Diggs, it was impressive. And the momentum of that or the momentous point of that game where that happened, there's no taking away from it. But you're talking about what's more impressive.
Yeah.
What
What's
what
more
has
difficult?
more relevancy
Yeah.
carrying into this week?
Yeah.
It's watching the Eagles in their goal line stance.
Well,
Yeah.
and then if you look at, deeper into it as well, it's very impressive because you look at the people that are on, that were going up against the Eagles. In the red zone, in that type of the game, you're going up against the reigning MVP, Matt Ryan, and arguably one of the best wide receivers in the world, Julio Jones, in the red zone. I know they've kind of struggled in the red zone, but still, you have one of the best wide receivers in the world. You have the reigning MVP, and it's 4th and 2 or 4th and goal on the 2-yard line.
From the 2, yeah.
Listen, that's pretty freaking impressive, and that's nothing to take away from the Diggs catch because that was great and everything, but that was also caused
Yeah,
From a
By
mistake.
defensive thing. Yeah, from a mistake. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Although I would
Exactly.
argue that the Falcons made a mistake because that was a terrible play call.
Why
Sar-
didn't they run the
Sarkisian
ball?
Not even
is
just-
getting annihilated.
Not only that, but why are you going to cut the field in half?
Yeah.
Like, we already know, everyone knows in that stadium where that football is going.
Going
You're
to,
trying to
yep.
get the ball to Julio. Why the hell are you then going to cut the field in half so everyone knows, all right, Julio's going to be in that corner? Like, come on, that's
And
terrible.
what made it even
Jesus.
worse is he flanked his fullback out wide as
Yeah.
the ISO as a
Terrible.
flanker. Like why? Like that's spelling out what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even have to have done film study on the Falcons to know that okay, if they're splitting out their fullback wide, this is probably going to the other side of the field.
I saw that they're bringing Sarkisian back, too, next year, and I'm like, I don't know why. I don't
Go
know
ahead.
why.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So let's take our break now. We'll take a 10-minute break. Coming back on the other side, we're going to continue to talk. We're going to talk the preview of the Vikings game. We're going to go over, we're going to go over the divisional week. We're going to talk finally for Charles. We're going to talk the Patriots dynasty because I know we missed it.
Oh, it's
last
even
week.
better now
I
because
know.
now the assistants.
There's a lot more to talk about, and we got Paulie's prospect on the other side. We also got the poll question, in case you didn't catch it earlier. What is the biggest storyline heading into the Eagles-Vikings game? This is from ScanzanoSports.com. Jeff Fisher Bowl, Foles versus Keenum. Battle the defenses. Eagles are underdogs once again. Which team is the real team of destiny this season? Catch us on the other side. Thank you, Gibson Mayer, LLC. Our certified public accountant. Make them yours. GibsonMayerLLC.com. And BMW of Atlantic City Studios, obviously. BMW of Atlantic City for sponsoring us. Guys, we'll take a quick break. 10 minutes, come back. We'll be ready for you on the other side.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2D A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Hey guys, welcome back. Birds of a Feather here on A2DRadio.com, live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios, BMW of AtlanticCity.com. Second half here brought to us by StreamSmart.com. We're going to hit that poll question again, brought to you by ScanzanoSports.com. Poll question, if you didn't hear it the first half, What is the biggest storyline heading into the Eagles-Vikings NFC Championship game? The Jeff Fisher Bowl, Keenum versus Foles, battle of the defenses, Eagles are underdogs yet again, or which team is the real team of destiny this season? Guys, our chats have been flying off the handle, especially YouTube, so we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to jump on this one here on Facebook from John Miller. It says, the way I see it, this game is going to be another nail-biter. Nothing points to an easy win by either team. I think somebody's going to be out-coached, and that's going to be the difference. There's a very good possibility of that. YouTube was flying, so get on YouTube.
All right, so before we went to break, we had Renee Ballard come on and says, "What's up, guys?
What's up, Renee?
I love you, and we said it. We were going to win, and our D was going to get it. They dominated. Being a defensive girl, I'm in my glory. I need them to run with this momentum and win."
I'm with you, Renee.
Yeah.
I love a good,
Bleeding
strong
Green
defense.
agrees. He says, "Hear you there." So Damn Clutch says, "It's not that they hate Foles. It's just we lost our national spotlight when we lost Wentz. They loved Wentz too," which is it's valid. That is a valid point.
Can you imagine the storylines now if Wentz was playing?
I know.
mean, listen, I'm not going to hash
He would be
over
an
that.
underdog for damn sure.
No, I'm not going to hash over that. But wow, I mean, can you imagine? I just can't even imagine how much they would be talking about with Carson. Carson would be the superstar of the league right now, easily.
Here's a question I should not be asking, but that's since you brought it up. If Patriots and Eagles faced off, who would be the favorite? I'm saying with Carson.
It would have to be the Patriots, though.
You would say Patriots?
Just because of, Brady. And you got to look at it, too. Like, so Vegas, when they pick lines on public perception. And
True. That's true.
Over the years, people were identify the Patriots as being a really good team every year. So
Yeah. Jacob Loss says, "You guys see that we haven't let a touchdown in the final 2 minutes at home this season."
That's an awesome stat.
Yeah, isn't it an awesson stat? I
strong. Yeah. I'm with Ryan. Ryan's knocking on wood, and so are we. This table is wood. We will knock on this table.
And then Bleeding Green follows up and says, not just at home all season period, and it's any points at all. Renee Ballard says, "I'm not feeding into the refs fixing. By the way, I'm like 4 minutes behind. We are going to overcome that too. We already showed them that's not going to work. Defense does it again and bigger. We want a safety.
Overcome it."
Yep. Let's see.
Great teams too.
Todd Womack says Keenum is not going to be ready for that pressure up the middle.
It's going to be it's definitely going to be much stronger than what he's faced at this point. So
I think you could make an argument that both offenses are facing the toughest defenses they played all season.
Absolutely, I would agree with that.
Yes, they are. The Renee says, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl against Tom Brady without the MVP, does that count as 2 Super Bowls? And then Todd says, "Fuck yeah, it does. Get our revenge on 12 and win the Super Bowl. Hell yeah, 2 for a big one. And the Patriots do owe us one, so it might as well count as 2.
I got to say this too. So there was someone that was criticizing the goat wall, and the chat was saying like, "Oh, it's the goat wall, it's the goat wall," saying like, "Oh, how can you have Tom Brady up there?" If people that are new, to the show, to the A2D. The wall, it consists of jerseys that we don't necessarily own, but that were donated by fans, people that watch A2D.
There's a reason why this was donated.
So
I'm kidding,
because he's the greatest running back in Eagles history.
Because no one wanted him.
So obviously, the whole plan is if there is a day in time, that the Eagles do beat the Patriots, Wentz is on the team and beats the Patriots, that Brady jersey will go away and it'll be replaced by a certain, maybe an 11. That's all I'm saying. Trust me, there's a plan.
If you know Tom might replace it with a Foles jersey for a little bit, at least for a week.
Very true.
At least for a week.
Let's be real. If Nick Foles manages to win a Super Bowl, he's a GOAT in Philadelphia forever. It doesn't matter how it happened or what happened.
I can promise you guys this, the people at home this. If it ends up being Eagles versus Patriots in this year's Super Bowl,
it's coming down.
That Brady jersey is gone.
It's gone. You would think that, but you know how Tom is so superstitious. I can imagine he doesn't want to mess with anything.
That would be a serious discussion.
I would take it down, and I think that's something we would have to have a debate on. But I don't own the studio. It's not my call.
We'd have to put something up for
the only call I got is that we eventually get to hang up an Alexa Bliss picture. That's it.
So listen, I have actually proposed a really good idea.
Shoot.
put a Norm Van Brocklin jersey up there.
Oh.
That's worthy
Right?
enough.
And then not only that, that's good juju.
Listen, I got a Reggie
Does
White
anyone
jersey
have
we
a
could put
Norman
up.
Brocklin
We could
jersey?
put
We'll
a Reggie
find a
White
Norman.
jersey. I wore it last week
Reggie,
on the show.
You can't go wrong with a Reggie White jersey either.
Although
It's
I
good
have to
karma.
wear it because it's my lucky jersey right now. So
I wonder. See, we're gonna have what if I'm gonna say if because
Keep
I'm hearing
saying
I'm hearing a lot of people say when, and I'm saying to the people
Oh,
we
no.
still have to beat the
Calm down.
Vikings.
Yeah.
If the Eagles win this Sunday and go to the Super Bowl, we're gonna have 2 weeks to plan for this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we can we could take down a Manning, a Weber, an Iverson. No disrespect to all these, the Ripken, Jordan, Brady.
Just get as many Eagles jerseys as humanly possible.
Might have a theme. Might have a theme.
well, listen, and
I have a Brandon Graham 54 jersey sitting in my closet.
there you go. And listen, and also, I mean, we are obviously Philly sports talk, but we talk everything. We talk national
Correct.
sports. I mean, if you watch Hockey Happy Hour on Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, you got a Ducks fan, a Flyers fan, and a Penguins fan. That's
correct.
I mean, we have a strong knowledge. I think Sports Hounds on Monday nights.
Yep.
It's a Giants fan.
Yeah, Giants fan.
You know, we try to leave it open and have discussion for everybody.
Yep.
And that's what we want, and that's what seems to be what people like. So
here's my question to you guys and the people at home as well. Going into this game, because obviously going into the Falcons game, I remember we all came in, we had a lot of nervous energy.
Yes.
We were very like, oh, God, let's just get it over with. Because I remember we were talking about, I believe we were talking about it last Tuesday. We were saying, like, would we rather have it on Saturday or Sunday? And I think we all agreed, have the game on Saturday, just get it over with, versus the Falcons, just so we didn't have to wait and watch all the other games and be like, oh, my God, what's going to happen? In this game, the Falcons, do you guys have the same nervous energy? Because for me, and maybe it's fraudulent, I'm kind of relaxed. I feel like we got the big, the monkey off our backs. We got the playoff win, first time since 2008. I'm not saying anything that happens from here is gravy, but listen, we got the one. We all can breathe now a little bit. The game, the process is not over. The goal is not over. We still have to achieve the ultimate goal. But are you guys as nervous, have the nervous energy as you did last week?
well, no, because I think that what we showed is, we can win a playoff game, and I think that was the concern with Nick Foles. Can this team win a playoff game? Is this team for real that they could play against a good team who has Atlanta's obviously not the best team. They're a 6th seed, but they were still favored. Yeah. A team that has played well and was playing very well going into that game.
Yeah.
And I think that what they showed, that we can play that strong. Nick Foles can perform in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think that Doug showed that he can coach against other good head coaches in the playoffs. And he can make the adjustments in a playoff game when that's really what you want. I mean, I was very encouraged. So my skepticism of a lot of question marks I had, they showed me they can do it. Mm-hmm. Now the nerves then turn to, are they going to do it? We'll see. We won't know that till Sunday. But I think that's why there's a little bit more optimism, is because when Carson went down, it was this team they don't have what it takes to be able to make any kind of a run in the playoffs, to perform at a high level in the playoffs. And I think this week they showed, especially with that defense, which needed to step up, playoff time, they showed that they can do so.
You nailed it when you said when the Carson Wentz went down. Because here's what I feel like it was, because that game was the last really meaningful big game they had played. The next week they played the Giants with Foles. We all pretty much knew, okay, they're going to beat the Giants. And then they had to beat a Raiders team that was hopeless and coming. There's a lot of factors that we really didn't. There wasn't anything to get excited about. There wasn't anything to get it was almost like a wait. We were all waiting. It was just a waiting thing for 6 weeks. It was insane.
And I think the team got into that too. They
I
slipped
agree.
into that lull as well.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think that's what it is. And then we all had to wait another week with no football, no Eagles game at all.
Oh, that was
We
brutal.
had to deal with a horrible 6. What was the final of that game? The Dallas game, 6-0. Oh my God, so bad. We had to deal with that. Then we had to deal with a week of no football, and then we finally got to see it. So I think that's what it is. I think now that the momentum is back, and the Eagles, and that's the other thing too. They had no momentum because of everything, how the regular season ended. Now they have some momentum. So now it's all right, let's keep it going. Mm-hmm. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for me, I I'm trying to articulate this the best way I can. Because I do agree with you that I feel better this week because last week it's more of like I knew they could do it, but the national perspective and even here you had a lot of doubters here. I got into countless arguments, but like even with him he was reasonable about it. I had countless arguments with friends who are just like there's no shot. Eagles have no shot because Nick Foles sucks. So when you have that mentality, and it's not just them. You've heard it from a lot of Eagles fans, like, oh, we're done because Nick Foles just sucks. So I wanted that first game to be I was glad the Eagles got the first game because I wanted to be like, okay, let's do this. Let's show everyone that the Eagles can. So now that the whole city. Because I felt like ever since Carson Wentz went down, like you said, the morale went down because people started to doubt if they could. People lost faith. Like, okay, we have no quarterback, and a lot of casual fans, and I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying casual fans. They see the face of the franchise go down, and so they're automatically like, okay, I guess that's it. But that's not always the case, and if you know this team, if you know how good they are everywhere else, you knew that they had a shot. So I think the morale was so down that I personally wanted that first game to be Eagles game, and after they showed they could do it, now the city and the morale is kind of picked up. Like, okay, we can win a playoff game, like you said, Chrome. We can do it. So now let's get that last game. Let's set it up. Let's have it at nighttime, so that it's dark, it's cold, the best playoff atmosphere for Philly.
I think I've been saying it too since the moment Carson went down. I mean, listen, there's no understating how the magnitude of Carson Wentz going down, but to just write the team off to me is disrespecting every other player who's had a great season on this team.
It is, yeah.
And we knew that the team was built. Listen, it's built around Carson, but we probably had the best backup quarterback back in the league.
Yeah.
And it was probably our best case scenario if something like this was going to happen. And to me, to steal a quote from Denny Green and what we talked about last week on the show, what he showed me was he was who we thought he was, which was Foles was not quite as good as the Giants, but nowhere near as bad as what we saw that last game and those couple drives against Dallas.
Yeah.
He's somewhere in the middle, and he can do more than enough and make enough plays to win.
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to I opened up the show yesterday and I talked about, and it's funny you guys were talking about storylines earlier because it seems like this entire season, a storyline, there was numerous that was basically the same narrative. When Ronald Darby went down that first game against the Redskins, everyone was saying the season's over, the secondary won't be able to handle it. When Jason I'll go before that. When Darren Sproles got hurt, people were saying the season's over, the running backs won't be able to handle it. When Jason Peters went down, people were saying the season's over, the offensive line won't be able to handle it. Same thing happened with Jordan Hicks, and most importantly, when our MVP caliber quarterback went down, everyone was saying Nick Foles won't be able to handle it. And it feels so good to be sitting here still and be able to say they've all handled it. Mm-hmm. They've all handled it to the point to where they were able to, while being an underdog, win a freaking playoff game. And it just keeps going and going and going. And then, when you guys talk about storylines earlier as well, how about a storyline that says, when can we go back in history and tell me if there's, one that pops in your mind to where a team loses an MVP quarterback, an MVP, not just their starting quarterback, an MVP caliber quarterback, because he was going to be the MVP if he played 16 games. He was. It's factual.
Yeah.
If he would have been,
not even a question in my mind.
Unless it was going to be like a Space Jam thing to where their powers got taken away. You understand? If Carson Wentz played 16 games, he was going to be the MVP.
Absolutely.
Can we recall a team that lost their MVP quarterback and made it to the Super Bowl? We haven't done it yet, but if they do, how about that for a storyline?
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking powerful.
I wouldn't know.
The closest thing I could even think of, and I wouldn't say he was an MVP candidate, but a very good quarterback, was Greasy with the Dolphins, keeping the perfect season alive. But that was, a million years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that Brian Griese was having like an MVP type season.
Yeah.
He was very good, but he wasn't having the type of season that Carson Wentz was having that
Bob
year.
Gracie.
Bob Griese. Yeah. Did I
Brian-
say
Brian
Brian?
was the sign,
Brian,
The
yeah.
Broncos, yeah.
Well,
And
Brian was not
stinks.
good.
He stinks.
And Jacob Bloss asks, what do we do with Foles if we win the Super Bowl?
Well, you keep him on your team until next year,
Yeah,
until you know Carson's ready to go, and then
Exactly.
if there's a trade opportunity, and he's give him an opportunity to go start somewhere.
Well, now
But
that's
we got to cover our own asses first.
Yeah.
and that's
Yep.
And I think he would absolutely be understanding of that. I don't see Nick Foles being a guy who's going to demand a
and
trade
he-
coming out of this.
And not only that, because he's got a little loyalty to Doug, because Doug, Doug kind of has sort of I don't want to say resurrected his career, but kind of. He was talking about retiring. Andy Reid talked him out of it. He had Doug as his offensive coordinator at that point. I think that what you said, definitely for sure. They have to hold on to him until you know exactly where Carson Wentz is, because I want Carson Wentz to be I want them to Sixers him. I want them to keep him under wraps until he is 100% healthy with you know what I mean? I want him to be unbelievably healthy. You don't want to take any chances because you just can't afford to. He's too young and he's got too long of a career in front of him.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And real quick, Eddie, I'm going to hope I say your last name. Yaramillo says Vikings are going to get smoked. Told us to hang up a Chuck Bednarik jersey.
That's not bad.
that is
I love
That's not
this
bad at all.
Concrete
That's
Charlie.
Point.
Yeah.
And he puts Fly Eagles Fly. So love it, Eddie.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
I would
yeah.
love a Concrete Charlie jersey hanging up.
man.
Not bad.
But do you have any more on YouTube?
Yeah, I got
We're
bunches again.
yeah. get in
Renee
there.
says, I feel like the storyline is Minnesota hosting Super Bowl at home, and I'm okay they are basically dismissing us without being so blatant this time. Let's get it. I agree, Renee. Bleeding Green says, get Brady after facing Falcons and Vikings just like in 04. Third time's a charm. That's what I said in the thing. I said in 04 we had to face the Vikings, the Falcons, and the Patriots. Who knows? Maybe it happens again. Let's see. Renee says, if we win the Super Bowl, what words do I put under my newly colored tat? Suggestions? Underdogs?
Underdog's not bad.
Trust the process.
Not a bad idea. Underdogs.
Jacob Law says, I just realized something. The last time Kyle Lowry was kicked out of a game at Wells Fargo
I saw
Center
that earlier
in
today.
2004, the Eagles won the NFC Championship game that same week. It's a sign.
Yes.
I saw that. Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I loved him coming off the plane with the singing the Eagles song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
I was
that on
dude,
there.
it's so funny. So I actually covered. This is a little side note. I covered that game yesterday.
Yeah.
And first, it was so nuts, everything that was going on, and there were whispers that Kyle Lowry actually did go after, tried to go after Ben Simmons.
Yep.
No one knows. No one can confirm anything because
Yeah.
whatever happened, nobody saw it, so no one can claim unless they happen to be back there, some staff member happened to see it. But supposedly Kyle Lowry was actually kind of looking for.
Oh,
Ben
what? The
Simmons.
tunnel? The tunnel?
That's a rumor. That's out there. The Sixers were really quick to beat that one down as fast as humanly possible. I don't know, but
Well, Simmons in
Yeah.
his presser was saying, I don't know what
dude.
happened. I don't know what happened.
that was the best. Well, so what was funny is I had to run around. Part of the locker room was closed, which was weird. But there was legitimately a flood in their locker rooms. That's what happened. So I'm in the underbelly of Wells Fargo Center trying to get a quote from Kyle Lowry. And I got him. I actually got him after the availability, so I had him one-on-one for 30 seconds.
Cool.
And that's what I asked. I softened him up with some of those. The game today, coming home, yada yada. And then I asked him what happened. He says nothing at all. I was like, no, I was like nothing. I was like, just the physical game. He's like, things happen. That's all he said. I'm like, wow. I can't even be upset that that's
They
all
didn't
you're
want
giving
anything
me,
on the
'cause
record. They
that's
didn't want
ama-
anything on the
Well,
record.
yeah, because the risk and suspension.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
and I love Simmons' quote, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not going to take shit from anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Renee again. I don't have as many nerves. I was on pins and needles all week last week, and I was a wreck most of the game. But after watching the game and the others, I was more encouraged and confident. Bleeding Green says Foles is the first QB in history to have over 100 QBR in his first two
Yeah, I
playoff
saw
games. One thing you can say about him is pressure doesn't get to him. Renee says, I heard that, and it just encourages me more. And then the Foles comment that you already read, Ryan. What else?
Sixer
Go ahead,
JT makes a good point on his.
Did you read
YouTube is
which one? Which comment?
He said, who was the quarterback for the Ravens in 2001? He was a backup.
Oh, Trent
wasn't he?
Dilfer.
Yeah.
Trent Dilfer.
I wouldn't say that he replaced an MVP caliber
I think he
quarterback.
was.
No, he replaced like Tony Banks,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
And
In a
then
weird
funny-
way, that almost might have been an upgrade.
And then, funny enough, they replaced Trent Dilfer with anyone? Anyone?
Oh man.
Elvis Gerbach.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. I forgot about Elvis Gerbach.
God.
Yep.
what
That's I know,
Oh,
Ryan. That's like
God.
you're like,
Wow.
yeah, that's ahead of your time, man. I know.
Right. It's
Were
like,
you
whoa.
bored? I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Even if I was, but I don't think either way I would. I actually should be able to remember that name just because it's such an out there name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Elvis Gerbach was one of they thought he was like the next like Steve Young because he was like, oh, the 49ers back up, and he was going to be.
I
and
almost
then-
said Steve McNair, but McNair was a little bit later. right?
Later.
Yeah, McNair was after.
was later.
Yeah, he was later.
Yeah. But yeah. So we've kind of touched a lot on the Saints Vikings. I don't know if you guys want to jump anything else back into that. Obviously, it was a tough play at the end of the game for Marcus Williams. I know we were talking in the car. You know, he was trying not to make a dumb penalty and trying to keep the player in bounds, but
Yeah.
he completely whiffed on him.
He
I mean, let's be
executed
realistic.
very poorly.
That was
Epic
what. Yeah,
lead.
I mean, listen.
Well, you do
there's-
two things: you either make a play on the ball, or you wait for him to come down,
Exactly.
and you make a play on the player. Like
Exactly.
you can't. He did neither. He got caught in between,
Yeah,
and that was
neither,
just it's a bad place to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because, like Paulie said earlier, he's had a very good year.
Oh yeah.
He's
But
been
that's
really
what
good
he's
for them.
yeah.
that's what he's going to be remembered for this season. I did like his quote, and I hope that where essentially he just kind of talked about.
Yeah,
I'll
his
read
tweet.
his quote.
No,
Yeah,
his
his tweet,
tweet. He basically said he's not going to let it define his career. It was a
Which
yeah.
is good. I think. I mean, I'm not a Saints fan, obviously, but even if I was, I wouldn't.
I'm
I'd
sure
go
his
easy
teammates.
on
Yeah,
Yeah,
he said
I'm
I-
sure his
Yeah,
teammates
like-
are
Said I
great.
appreciate my friends, real fans, family, and team for everything they've done for me this season. All the support's highly appreciated. Know the season didn't end as planned, but one thing's for sure: I won't let one play define the type of man or player that I am or will be. With the 100 mode.
That's a hell of an attitude for a
emoji.
young
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, man. And
Make a
listen,
big mistake like that, and for you to say it 2 days later to come out and say something like that, like that's a lot of maturity.
Yeah, he's got. You know,
Listen,
it's,
we
you know
hate to
it's killing
say
him,
hate
too.
to say what I was when I was a young man.
Listen,
Yeah.
we saw how Darby reacted to things this season.
Exactly.
We've seen
Yeah.
other guys without even, with half of that kind of a class. So
I hate to say this though, and listen, I really don't want to be that guy, unless
You're gonna be
he
that
has a great career, which he absolutely can. It will define his career.
Well, yeah,
It will.
I agree with that. Yeah, he's
Well-
got it. Well, I think
no, because if Minnesota does not win the Super Bowl,
it's
if
still
we
gonna
beat
be a
Minnesota-
pretty
it's
big
still-
play, though.
I don't think it will be as big of a deal. Now, if that's one of those plays that, God forbid, Minnesota ends up winning the Super Bowl this year, he will never live that play down, ever.
Let me ask you a question then. Other than the Seahawks Patriots, interception at the end of the game, in recent years, name me a more shocking end to a game in a playoff game.
Other than that,
Yeah, it's-
Shocking.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a few Hail Mary
Yeah,
passes.
they
that
were
was
regular
a
season,
playoff
though.
game.
But
Yeah, they're regular
I'm
season.
saying negative. You can have
Yeah.
great touchdown passes, great field goals, great moments,
no,
everything
there's
like
not
that.
many.
I gotta
Negative.
go
Who was it
year by
on Dallas that dropped the ball before he ran in the end? One of the defensive linemen, I think. Didn't he pick up a fumble or something and drop the ball before he got in the end
Are
zone?
you
Oh,
thinking
you're
of
talking
Leon
about
Lett?
way back.
Leon
Leon
Lett.
That's
Lett,
like early
yeah.
90s though.
You're talking about way before.
But I'm just saying,
That's
Leon
last
Lett
year,
had a
yeah.
really good career.
Right.
That
No,
was a
but you
really
know-
stupid play.
Well, you know what the thing about that was though, Dallas was already blowing the Bills out, so it wasn't and it didn't affect the
Didn't cost
game.
the
no,
game.
but that you
At
still
all.
see that. You
But
still
no,
see
but
that
no,
all
I
the
hear
time.
because I'm trying.
I'm just trying to think of bonehead plays.
No,
There
I
was
understand.
I understand.
so there was a
Deshaun Jackson.
what we can and everyone can enjoy this, but this was like in the 70s. I think Dallas was playing the Steelers in one of the Steelers Super Bowls that they won. There was a catch by a tight end. It was an easy catch, wide open, would have won Dallas the game, and he dropped it. I can't think of his name.
Yeah,
Jack E.
okay,
Harris,
I
it might have been.
I know who you're
He
talking
was
about,
like a Hall of Fame caliber tight end.
Yeah.
But what everyone knows him for is that
It's a
drop.
Babe Ruth tried to steal second in the World Series on stealing second against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, but Babe Ruth is Babe Ruth.
That's all right. I'm just saying, guys make dumb plays.
I'll name you guys one. It's probably the last one as far as the negative side of
Go back
things.
to the 20s to find something like that.
I know, right?
Cowboys versus Seahawks. Tony Romo.
I was thinking of that one.
Tony
too.
Romo.
And I'm not saying his career is probably defined by the injuries, but if you're going to define it on one play, it's that play.
Well, you have that. You have butt fumble. You have all kinds of interesting plays.
Fumble.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is, listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope the kid has a great career for them. I hope people forget about this. As of right now, that's going to define his career.
Probably.
It's gonna.
It's going to
Right
take a
now,
while.
it's yeah.
It's up there.
It's just.
I will say that I
it won't
agree.
Determine how good his career is. Like I think.
No,
he's
that's
still gonna
correct.
be
That's
good,
correct.
I think either way, it's going to have a mark on his career. But yeah, if they win the Super Bowl, it's going to have a ridiculous. Like then, it's totally going to be completely unforgettable.
Yeah.
It might. If the Eagles win this week, that will mitigate it some.
I absolutely think that, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. What'd you guys think of Steelers and Jags, obviously?
Great
God.
game.
Great
Great game. Well, can I say my first thing? And
Let
I
me just
post-
knock this out of the way. Patriots and Titans.
Yeah, don't even.
We'll just knock that out.
Don't
Yeah, it
worry
was on. I thought we were going to see more from the Titans.
Corey
in that
Davis,
game.
though.
Corey
My dude.
Davis,
I
yeah,
love Corey Davis.
stud.
Yeah, back to Steelers
Can
and Jags.
I posted this on the group pages for A2D and Birds of a Feather.
Mm-hmm.
I still, for years, I've been saying that Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver in football, and I think you saw more of that.
Yeah.
Not 100%, and he's going up against A.J. Bouye, who hadn't let up a defensive touchdown all season, and he has two amazing plays.
Yeah.
And, like, him and Le'Veon Bell are the only reason why, well, obviously Ben Roethlisberger, because he's throwing them the ball, but the only reason the Steelers kept fighting back. Like Antonio Brown, for being 5'10", 195, he plays like he's 6'3".
It's unbelievable.
Have you seen a guy since maybe Steve Smith, but a guy that's under 6 feet who can go and get a 50-50 ball like Antonio Brown can? Like it's unbelievable, and there's no one. I'm going to keep saying this. There's no wide receiver in the past. I'll say 10, 15 years who runs better routes than Antonio Brown. I will go out and say that right
Well, that's
now.
why and that's why he's so great because he he has to compensate because he's not the biggest guy in the world.
He's not the fastest.
I was going to say he's also not the fastest
Yeah.
guy in the world. So that's how he compensates for it by just being really quick and really really good in his routes.
Yeah, he
And he catches everything.
He's so smart.
Very
how to
aggressive
get
when he goes
open.
up to catch
Yep.
football.
It's his.
It's his ball. He knows how to attack at the high point. He knows how to use leverage. He knows how to track the ball in tight spaces.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable. This guy's crazy good.
So your take is going to be your biggest takeaway, your Steelers and Jaguars would be Antonio Brown. Mine is
Not my biggest, but
yeah, one of.
Yeah.
My thing is, my God, I love Jalen freaking Ramsey
Yes.
so much. He is such a cocky prick, and I love it
But
because
for a
that's
corner,
how
you need that.
Exactly.
You need that
if you're
for a corner.
gonna be that kind of player, you're gonna be a corner. You have to have that edge to you, and I love it. I like. Could you again? If that guy was in Philly, oh my God! If he played for the Eagles. People, there wouldn't be enough Jalen Ramsey jerseys to fit a quota in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
They would love that guy here because he's cocky and he also gets the job done. I absolutely love Jalen Ramsey.
My takeaway, and this kind of goes with all of the games, with the exception of the Patriots and Titans, is you came in and you had Drew Brees versus Case Keenum. You had Matt Ryan and Nick Foles. You had Ben Roethlisberger against Blake Bortles. And everything was all these guys. I mean, we heard the Blake Bortles quote, about what do you think about the LeBron quote?
Yeah.
Every one of these guys came in and said, okay, well, this guy, we all know his credentials, but they all came in and made big plays when they needed to happen, and then they showed. I mean, listen, you'd rather probably have every other quarterback that's on the other side, but there's no reason your team can't win with those guys. That if your team is making plays,
Because it's about the team.
and you're put in a position to win, every one of them came in and punched all the critics in the mouth this week.
Yeah.
And that's my takeaway, and that's why people said, "Oh, you have Tom Brady," and then you ever think you'd see, the NFC, the championship round would be Foles, Bortles, Keenum, and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
No, but all these guys came in, punched every critic in the mouth and said, "Hey, why not us?"
Yeah, speaking
That's what I took away from this week.
speaking of coaching, Doug Marrone has done one hell of a job with
Yeah.
the Jaguars. He's limited
Tom Coughlin went in there and set the tone for
Yeah.
the organization,
that's
and he
big
did
part.
a hell of a job.
And who did he hire though? As his head coach?
Absolutely.
He
No,
wanted
I
Doug
agree.
Marrone was his guy.
He knew who he needed to go in there personnel-wise to set them. Well, before they put the personnel around it, he knew with the direction and the culture he wanted on that team.
Absolutely.
And he knew that they really needed to shake a lot of things up.
Definitely.
And he went in there and he did it. And then he surrounded him with the right personnel for him to be effective and for him to get his message across and get these young kids playing.
It's amazing what drafting well does. When you have
Yeah.
good drafts, when you get Jalen Ramsey and Miles Jack in the first 2 rounds of a draft, when you already have Telvin Smith, when you draft well, this is what happens. You build a foundation, and then you just have to add pieces.
Yeah.
Tom said that last year he said that he would have traded up to 2. I think he's saying to take Ramsey.
Yeah. When the Eagles made all the moves to go and trade up and eventually get Wentz, Tom was saying like, hey, he wouldn't lose sleep if they traded up and didn't get a quarterback and got Ramsey. That's how much he loved Ramsey.
Ramsey is.
I had this debate with a Cowboys fan. I said, I think they should have taken Jalen Ramsey over Ezekiel Elliott.
And then they would have been able to draft Derrick Henry too.
Yeah, exactly. You could and I don't want to take anything away from Ezekiel Elliott, who's a really talented back.
Oh yeah.
But you could put any damn back in that system, and they would get yards.
With
proven
the
it.
size of the.
But
yeah.
a shut down, lockdown corner like that,
Yeah.
they don't come around often.
Well,
they
Yeah.
do not.
They don't.
Especially, compared to a running back that wasn't exactly available this year. as well,
Yeah.
Availability, is,
That whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Tom
There
says
it
no
is.
question, Paulie.
There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah, but I mean it's good that we all kind of saw different things this week, and I mean there was a lot to take away from it.
I have one more take though. If I'm a Steelers fan, I'm calling for Mike Tomlin's head.
Mike Tomlin's got to go.
Mike Tomlin is not okay. The play calling, Mike Tomlin, Todd Haley, I don't care.
Well,
in
Haley's
the
under a
both
lot.
fourth
There's a
down,
lot of
the
heat
play
on
call
Todd Haley
for
right
the
now.
fourth down calls, especially that first one. It's fourth and not even a yard, and you're gonna run a toss play to the outside when you have Big Ben. You can do a quarterback sneak with. Come on, and it's not even just those 2 plays. It's the whole game plan was just bad. Like I said, those 3 Bs, they're the only reason why the Steelers were in that game still, because the game plan was bad, the scheming was bad. It's as though the Steelers did not learn anything from their first matchup with the Jaguars, where they got blown out. They said, okay, we're just gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna win this time. How many times is Mike Tomlin gonna choke in the playoffs until people realize it's time for him to go? He's not.
He won a
he's an
Super Bowl,
overrated
buys
coach.
you a lot of time though.
That's
unfortunately.
Look
At Marvin Lewis. Guy hasn't won a.
Oh my God.
I mean, if that guy's got a job, anybody's got a chance at this point.
This is very true.
Andy. Love
Yeah.
Andy, but Andy right now, I'm not saying he should lose his job, but he should be on a hot seat a lot more than it sounds like he is.
Well, no, what's funny is 2 things. So one, with Tomlin, he's going to get another shot because A, he won a Super Bowl. B, that is just how the Steelers roll with their coaches, and they're also
You're right. Yeah.
this late. Who they want to have? If they're going to fire Tomlin, they want to have like Bill Cowher's going to want to have to come back. You know what I mean? They're going to have to make a really good hire in order for that to happen.
You're right.
They would need to
That's
get
correct.
Nick
You're right.
Saban or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like they would
Or
need to hire
Harbaugh or something like
something
that. Yeah.
crazy. Like they
Nick
would need to
Saban
hire.
stinks.
Yes.
Saban stinks.
Oh, let the hate fill you. I love it.
Here's this for a
Stinks.
take. So when you guys were talking about the Steelers game, Sixer JT said I'd take Odell
I saw him.
and surprisingly AJ Green over Antonio
No.
Brown.
No.
No.
I don't take either.
First
one.
of all,
I
Odell-
can you can make an argument for Odell, not for AJ Green.
But Odell is a head case for one, and okay,
No,
it's
Julio's
close.
the only argument
It's close.
to make.
Odell still has strides to make as a route runner, and I have a very close friend of mine who is a Giants fan, and we talk about it all the time. And he even says, Odell is getting there in terms of route running, but he's not there yet. He doesn't get open as I'm telling you guys, if you the most important traits in a wide receiver are 1, hands, and 2, route running. You have to catch the ball and you have to get open, and it's not about athletic ability. Is Odell Beckham more athletic than than Antonio Brown? 100% yes. He's more athletic. But Antonio Brown is so smart. You cannot have there's no corner right now or even in the past 10 years that can the whole game keep up with Antonio Brown. And Antonio Brown comes up with big catches when they need him to come up with big catches. So, I'm sorry, like you maybe in 5-10 years to see how Odell's trajectory of his career will go, because he has Hall of Fame potential. Then yeah, come back. We'll have a discussion then. But right now, I would not if you're talking about one game right now, I would 100% take Antonio Brown over Odell.
I agree with that. I would say, but again, mine was more between those two. I would Odell. You can make.
You wouldn't throw Julio in there? I would.
Maybe.
Close.
Maybe.
Close. And AJ Green is good
to
too.
me, Julio's even a little closer to him than Odell.
I'd put Julio
in that
ahead
argument.
of AJ Green. Absolutely.
Oh, well, yeah,
50%.
Ralph and I were actually having a debate because he asked me something about Brandon Cooks. Is he a lockdown top 5 receiver in this league? We were talking about our top 5. I agree.
Charles. Oh my God, Charles' face. Look like he just sucked on a lemon.
No.
I
Lost
agree.
his headset on that. He's like,
So and I'm a DeAndre Hopkins fan. I'd pick DeAndre Hopkins over Brandon Cooks any day.
Yeah,
I
I would
might-
completely agree with that.
Am I
too.
an idiot for maybe taking Tariq Hill over?
No. Over who? Brandon Cooks?
Yeah,
No. I would take Tyreek
I
over
really
Brandon
like
Cooks.
Tariq Hill.
I do too.
I
He's
really
very
like him.
versatile.
I do too. I think he's going to continue to get better and better too.
I would honestly though, I would take and this is how high I am on them. Again, going back to it, I would take Thielen and Diggs over Hill. I would take him over Cooks. They are that good. I'm telling you. If Diggs could just stay freaking healthy, he is so good.
So Tom says he's going back to Ramsey. He did say he said Ramsey's the best cover corner since Dion, and the speech he gave on their field, he looked like Denzel in American Gangster. And then he says, I think this was to Charles. He says the play calling, they scored 42 points. Their defense stinks.
That's a big part. I agree with that.
And then
they lost Shazier too.
Yeah,
That was
but-
big.
He says Pittsburgh's organization is loyal, and then he says in one game I'm taking Julio, which who didn't know that Tom's taking Julio?
Oh God! All right, Tom.
Which I don't disagree with you, Tom. I might take Julio. To me, he's the debate.
How many
of
touchdowns Julio
Antonio
had
and
this year?
Julio.
Yeah, exactly, Tom. All right, Tom. Let's go. Debate number 2 after Westbrook versus McCoy. Let's go Antonio Brown versus Julio.
We're just writing out the rundown of
Now-
that show now.
How much of a chance do you guys think the Jaguars have of beating the Patriots?
I think they have one.
They have I'm picking the
legit one.
Jaguars.
It's gonna depend a lot on Blake Bortles, which Blake Bortles you're gonna get,
Yes.
and play calling, and is Fournette gonna be able to create enough plays with the running game to take some of the pressure off of them? But I think they absolutely have a chance. I would love to see it.
Who
Absolutely
wouldn't? Who the hell
love to
wouldn't
see
love
it.
to see that?
Everybody wants to see the Eagles and Patriots. I don't give a shit who we play if we make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not one of those. Do you have a preference of one? I don't give a shit who we
Just get
play.
me
I
there.
just want to
Well,
get
it's
there.
like one of those. Dude, there are people, and there are people who say this, and I don't get it at all. So, when the Phillies won the World Series, they beat the Rays. People are like, oh, wouldn't you rather face the Red Sox or the Yankees and won? Hell no!
If
you just want to win, who
Tom
cares
said-
about that? That's so stupid.
Tom also says his quarterback stinks, and the other is a Hall of Famer. Mic drop. I agree with him.
Okay.
I think Matt Ryan stinks.
You
Okay,
think
now
that-
you're
you think-
just-
wait, you
now
think
you're
the
just
MVP of the league last
discrediting-
year
Yeah,
stinks?
now you're
I
just
think he's
He's
discrediting-
vastly underachieved in his career. Given
Yeah,
the
I
weapons
would
he's had around him.
absolutely
Yeah,
agree
he's
with
vast-
that.
But is he a Blake Bortles? Can he make
Matt
all
Ryan?
the throws? Yeah, can Matt Ryan make all the throws?
I don't know if he can make
Come on,
all
Mis-
the throws, but I'm not going to say.
Come on. Okay, Ryan Brodo, Mr. Quarterback over here. Are you saying Matt Ryan cannot make, as a quarterback, all the throws necessary in a route tree?
Did he on Saturday?
But you're not.
Did
I'm
he on
not
Saturday?
talking about can he do it.
Were there
Did he on Saturday?
Were there any egregious throws there? Were there any throws you were
Yeah.
like, yeah, Matt Ryan missed that one?
Well, we're also
Bad
talking about
throw.
one game. We're also talking.
I know,
about
but my point is, you just brought up the game though. So I'm saying,
Yes, that is
there
my point.
Was there any egregious throws in that game where you're like, man, Matt Ryan really missed that play?
No, but I judge it off of this. All right, you look at the weapons he has around him. All right, you see the running game he has. He has the wide receivers. He has the running game. He has the offensive line.
He's the
he has
wide
the coach.
receiver.
Mohamed Sanu's just a guy.
Yeah, come
He's
on,
not
man.
just a
He's
guy, but
good.
he's good.
He's not
There's
great.
no,
He's
like,
not- yeah, he's
not
good.
elite. And you're talking to a Rutgers fan.
He's good.
I know
He's
the
no-
Rutgers.
he's a good
I know
number
all
two
the
receiver.
Rutgers wide receivers in the league. I know Mohamed Sanu. He's okay. He's decent, but he's not.
I'm with you, Ryan.
Is he just? Is he just a guy, Chrome?
No, he's not. Just
I didn't say he's just a guy, but he's not. He's
Well, I'm just saying,
a
let's not
decent wide
act like
receiver.
Mohamed Sanu is just a guy.
We didn't say he was just a guy.
So does he have an above average wide receiver core? Yes or no?
yes.
yes.
Okay. Does he
Yeah.
have an above average running back core that's going to
Was he
take
not
pressure
the
off of him?
MVP last year?
Much
He
more.
was
above
the
average.
MVP
Was
last
he
year.
And that's
not
fine.
the
And did he
MVP
not?
last
Did he
year?
not put up a 28-3 lead in the
Super Bowl?
and
Listen.
have his defense collapse?
Listen, I'm not the one that said he stinks. All I said was he's vastly underachieved in his career.
Okay.
That's all. That's my
Okay.
Tom
point.
All
says
right,
Matt
all right.
Ryan is good, but he can't hold Ben's jock
Okay.
strap.
Yeah.
I
But-
agree with that.
Okay, but
I don't agree with
he has. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, but they are both capable quarterbacks. We're talking about wide receivers right now. I'm gonna give up the. We're not gonna talk about the Patriots because now you got me going. All right. So
The Patriots are going to
go.
become like the Matt Damon of like the Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to apologize to the Patriots. We'll get to you next week.
You
You
have,
guys will
okay,
talk about him
we're
if
talking-
you face him, right?
We're talking about comparing the wide receivers. So now you're talking about comparing the wide receivers. You're talking about do they both have capable quarterbacks? Do they both have really good quarterbacks who can make the throws? Yes, they do. Now you're gonna fault Antonio Brown and say, "Oh, he's not that good only because his quarterback is pretty damn good." That's not a fair.
no, but I
argument
think
to
he has a
make.
better quarterback and he's in a better system.
Yeah,
in
he
my
has-
opinion.
No, I can't say that.
I think
can't say
that.
that.
I think if you look at the numbers, I don't know, man. I can't honestly say that Antonio Brown is Antonio Brown just because of Ben Roethlisberger.
exactly.
I can't say it. I mean, if you look at the numbers, there is a severe drop off, but that's also because Landry Jones is their freaking
Yeah.
backup, who is just absolute garbage. So I don't know.
Do I think
I'm
Julio,
taking Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Do I
over
think Julio is like a very, very, very close second? Yes. Yes. But based on what I've seen in their career, Antonio Brown has come up big more times in the big moments, and I will take Antonio Brown's skill set and versatility as also a punt returner. Does Julio return punts?
Tom said capable. Who cares about punt returning? We're talking about
Yeah, I
wide
don't care about
receiving.
punt returning.
No,
Tom
but
says
it's a part of his
capable. One's a
versatility.
first ballot Hall of Famer. The other is putting the jacket on for him.
And then he also says Tom didn't say that the only reason Antonio Brown
No,
is
that's
Antonio
not-
Brown is
no,
because
that's
Ben
the
Roethlisberger.
argument
He's saying
that
it
he's
helps.
taking
It
into-
helps
right.
given the quarterback.
Right, but
Are we
I don't think
discrediting-
Matt Ryan hurts Julio
No, but
Jones?
this is I'm going to speak for Tom. And if I'm wrong, Tom, please correct me on it. I think what Tom is saying is that who's the better quarterback, Roethlisberger or Ryan? It's Roethlisberger. We all agree with that, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
So it helps given the experience that Roethlisberger has. He's better. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
the system that's been put into place
Okay.
consistently.
Yes. So it makes a difference. It also, go back to Sixers JT, his point on why he was talking about A.J. Green. He said that A.J. Green has a crappy quarterback passing to him.
Sure, that's fair.
All I think people were trying to say is it matters who's throwing the ball to him. Let's look at the Broncos and Demaryius Thomas. The last 2 seasons, he hasn't been great given the quarterback has sucked. You know what I mean? So you have to look at that as well.
I think that's fair. But here's my argument would be this. I don't think there is this crater of distance between Matt Ryan and Ben Roethlisberger that you could say, like, Demaryius Thomas, you're right, because friggin' Trevor Siemian is the absolute.
Paxton Lynch
he's a,
was in
yeah,
there.
Yes.
that's a dumpster fire at the quarterback. Matt Ryan isn't a dumpster fire with Atlanta.
Exactly.
He's a above average to very good quarterback.
Exactly.
He was an MVP, and not only, and then my argument would be this too. If you're going to say so, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones. Look at the matchup Antonio Brown had in his game this weekend. Look at the matchup that Julio Jones had in his game this weekend. I would say, with all due respect to the Eagles' corners, A.J. Bouye and Jalen Ramsey pose a much tougher threat than Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby. And Antonio Brown smoked their asses. He scored 2 touchdowns.
A.J. Bouye
and
had
he
his
hasn't
arm.
played in weeks. He's got a
Yeah,
bad
he's
calf.
not even 100%.
And he still did that. And Julio Jones had a nice game. He didn't take that
If
game
you're-
over.
If you're going to take the argument of, he has a Hall of Fame quarterback, so I think he has a big advantage over Julio. Okay, so let's go back in time. Are you going to take away from Jerry Rice? Like, he had Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Are you going to take that away from he had Steve Young and Joe Montana throwing to him. So he's not that good. Like, when I'm comparing wide receivers, yes, the system, in terms of stats and what they put up, yes, the system and the quarterback matters. But as also someone who loves to evaluate talent, I look at these talents in a vacuum. I see what does each give me just by themselves. If you were to put Antonio Brown and Julio on the same team, or like put them in the same predicament, same circumstance, I still take Antonio Brown because I think Antonio Brown is the better overall wide receiver by a little bit.
I
That's what I'm
think
saying.
that's a really fair point. Looking at it as if you gave them both the most optimal situation, the best possible quarterback they could be catching passes from, the best offense tailored to their skill set, I think that Antonio Brown would be the better player.
Yes.
Listen, I think it works twofold. And by the way, this entire time, I agree. I would take Antonio Brown
Sure.
Oh,
over
God,
Julio.
Ryan.
Sure.
Well,
I was arguing Tom's point.
Okay.
He was arguing
Yeah,
Tom's point.
I know
That's
Tom
fine,
is
that's
speaking through
Yeah.
a chat, and he's
Yeah, it's
he
not
can't-
easy.
That's
yeah.
fine.
So it goes twofold, though. You know what I mean? I think, especially given last year with Wentz and that offensive line and everything as well, I think the outlook of a quarterback is determined by the wide receivers, and I think it's the wide receivers are determined by the quarterback. I think
Yeah.
it's both.
It's
There's no way to possibly value that. There's no way that we could like actually contextualize that. Like it is what we just have to look at it for what it is. We can't possibly know this.
If you guys want to extend by a couple minutes, because I know you guys
I
have
feel
other
like
stuff you
YouTube
guys are
blew
going to do as well.
Well, I know we just got to get Paulie's prospect in.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah,
my
that's it.
prospect.
Yeah.
So we got that.
Look
If
at
you want
me
to hit
go.
YouTube, I'll
Yeah,
get a
go,
couple on
yeah.
Facebook here. I
So-
don't understand what the one is, but I'll read it anyway. B. Marcus Guthrie, we want a rematch with New England. That's when I was talking earlier about who I don't care we play, and I get it. Listen, I mean, it would be a cool storyline to go and play against New England again. Just for me, especially knowing that this team hasn't won a championship since the '60s and hasn't won a Super Bowl ever. I just want to get there and win. I don't care who we play against.
No.
Would it be a cool story? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But I'm also one of those be careful what you wish for kind of people.
Absolutely.
So I just don't wish for anything. If we get there and we win, 10 years from now, I'm not going to give a shit who we played or what the storyline
exactly.
was.
Just
We
to
won
have the ring.
we won the title.
Yeah.
It's a cool and again, I mean, we're clamoring for a retribution for something that happened 13 years ago.
Right.
Two
I
completely
just-
different teams.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's
I mean,
over. Yeah.
I get it. I get it, and it's cool, and it would be cool to get that kind of that revenge. But if we don't get it, but we get a ring, I'll take the ring over the revenge.
Exactly.
Mark Principe, Jags going to be in Brady's face all day. Eagles, Jags, Super Bowl, go Birds. # underdog strong.
That would be so. The NFL would absolutely hate that Super Bowl, but it would be
It would be awesome.
But real, I was gonna say, real football
Gameplay
fans,
wise, that would
real
be good.
football
Oh my
fans
God.
would love it.
Yeah.
But I think the casual fan will be like, okay, cool. I don't really want to watch
It's a
Blake
10-7
Bortles,
game.
Nick
This is
Foles.
boring.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah.
so Manuel and Roseanne Contreras. This is the one I don't understand, but maybe I missed something in the chat. He just says, "And who's it by?" ? The Eagles. Hey pal, both quarterbacks were backups when the season started. I'd be shaking in my boots if Wentz was playing, but he's not. And here's a little reminder: you guys barely got by Atlanta, who.
Cool. And the Vikings barely got by the Saints, if not for a miraculous play. So what the hell's the
Yeah.
point there?
And he says, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be a battle of two defenses. You got that right," which I totally agree with you. It's gonna be an awesome defensive battle. But yeah, anything could happen. Both quarterbacks were back. Oh, I think he's fixing a little bit of what he said, so I understand.
Oh, okay.
Both quarterbacks were backups, and one of them are gonna to the Super Bowl, which is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at the U.S. Bank Stadium. We shall see. I'm going to keep you in my mind come Sunday night. Keep it in mind. Hey, jump back on Tuesday nights when we're back next week.
Yeah, man.
But no, I get it, and I think that's why the quarterback thing isn't as big of a deal. I think people realize this is two of the strongest defenses in the league. The quarterback thing is a subplot.
Yeah.
But it's going to be more of defense versus defense and who's going to outlast the other one and which offense is going to make more big plays.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys want to give predictions?
Yeah, you know what? It's a little early, but I'll give a prediction. We usually don't because it's early, but it is. Our show's usually early in the week, but
we had luck because you guys gave predictions last
we
week,
did
right?
give predictions last
It was
week.
good luck, right?
Sure.
So
So
Who
that
do you-
means I shouldn't go with what
who
I
do you
actually
got,
think?
Sir Brodo?
Oh, you want to start with me?
Yeah.
Oh, good God. You're putting me on the spot here. Oh. You know what? What the hell? I'll go Eagles. I think it's going to be really tough. I'm going to go 16-13 Birds.
Okay.
That's real tight.
Oh, man.
I might shit myself during that game. It's that tight.
God. All right. So last week I said if it was Eagles Vikings, that I would be picking the Vikings, and everything this week and that I've studied, it in my head says to pick the Vikings because just logically matchup wise, I think they are the better team. Even with them coming to Philly, I think they just they outmatch us from top to bottom. But you know what? We've gotten this far, and my head does not take into account the fact that this team has just always found a way to win. No matter what, they can be outmatched. They can have millions of penalties go against them. They could have injury after injury, but they've always found the heater just went off. Okay.
No, you're good. It was mine, not yours.
They've always found a way to win. So even though my head says Vikings, I'm going to follow my heart. I'm going to keep believing that this team will find a way, and I'm going to say Eagles 17, Vikings 13.
We're definitely going to sound like a bunch of homers. I know it.
Yeah.
I don't care at this point. I sound like a homer,
I'm
but
going to
I
give my
really
reasoning
don't
why,
care.
but go ahead.
All right, so I mean, I led the show off, and I said it. I doubted. Not that I doubted. I don't want doubt's definitely not the right word. I underestimated how dominant this defense could be, and I underestimated how great of a job this coach has done and how great of a job he is going to continue to do. And I am not going to make that mistake again. I do think the Eagles will win. I think it is going to be ugly. It is going to be a huge defensive struggle. I also actually say 17-13 because I just think I could just see that happen. And I see the difference will be the Eagles will cash in on their red zone opportunities, and the Vikings will not. It'll just be one. That's all it's going to be for a 70-13 game. That means the Eagles will cash in on one more touchdown opportunity than the Vikings, and I think that will be the difference in the game.
Yeah, and I think for me, you know, like Manuel had said, Manuel or Roseanne, whichever one it was, that we barely got by Atlanta. Well, Minnesota barely got by the Saints if it wasn't for a really terrible play. I think to me, the way I'm looking at it, matchup-wise, it's very close. Obviously, the defenses are going to be the major factor here. I think the difference for us is the running backs, and I think that they're going to be able to create more plays and open up the passing game for Nick and take some of the pressure off. And again, you know, it's not being a homer. I just feel like Nick Foles showed us that he can do what needs to be done and make the plays that need to be made. And in a close game, again, Foles had a phenomenal second half this week. And that was when you really needed him to have a set, because it was tight in the first half. You needed him to come out, control the clock, control the time of possession and the position on the field and all that. And I feel like that will continue to roll. I don't expect a big high-scoring game either. I'm going to say someone's going to crack 20 this week. I'm going to say
that's bold.
Wow,
See, that's a bold prediction.
That's like
I'm going to say 23-17. I'm going to say 23-17.
a lot of points.
And I don't even think the points are going to come off of defenses. They could be off of turnovers. But I think at some point we're going to see 23. I think somebody's going to crack 20. I think it's going to be us. And I just have more confidence in Nick Foles as far as making those plays down the stretch. It was a nice pass by Keenum, but that pass wasn't the difference in that play. It was the terrible play by Marcus Williams.
I just think the reason why, because I think we talked about this last week, you know, and I'm going to sound like a fraudulent fan, but I said if we got one, you know, it would sit better for me if we won against the Falcons and lost by 40 this week as opposed to not winning any. So I was thinking, like, okay, you know, especially watching that Saints-Vikings game and at the beginning of the when the Vikings came out firing, I'm like, oh, good God, we're playing this team. We're playing this team. But I think that stat that I sent you guys earlier when it's, you know, compared to when Case Keenum is kept clean as opposed to when he's under pressure, you know, especially that's in a dome. That's one game in a dome.
Yeah.
You take outside, you know, I know it's not going to be 30 degrees by any means, but it's not going to be a dome.
No, and to add into that, and again, that's my fault. I didn't look it up, and I said I would. I'll get it, and I'll post it in one of the shows this week. But his numbers outside as opposed to inside of a dome are night and day. Totally different quarterback. That's going to be a huge factor this week. And I think it's something that shouldn't be understated.
The toughest road game they played outdoors was probably against Carolina, and what happened?
Listen, if
absolutely.
if the Eagles are able to stop the run, that gives them the opportunity to open up the floodgates and go after Keenum. And listen, if he's able to handle that, then all credit to him. Then he's clearly not a backup quarterback. He's clearly not. He's better, and he deserves a contract, and he deserves to be that guy. He deserves to be a Super Bowl quarterback if he can handle that. But from what I've seen right now and, you know, seeing what other quarterbacks do against us when the floodgates open and it's all hell breaks loose in our favor, in a playoff game at home, I think it's going to be really tough.
No,
Could you imagine if the Eagles take the lead? If they take the lead and they get out in front and they force Minnesota to pass the football on the road?
Paul, I think it comes down to one thing, and I said earlier, if the Eagles win the turnover battle, they're winning this game.
Sure.
No, and again, I think it's not. You talked about the hot start Minnesota got. I think it's how you finish the game. It's not how you start the game, and you saw a big difference in how we played as far as closing out in the second half.
Shut out in the second half.
And then Minnesota again. I hate to say it, it was an awesome moment, but they needed a huge thing that never happens in the NFL to happen to get past that game. And I'm not taking it away from them, but that gives me more confidence in what we showed that we are about on the field.
And listen, what did that game show? When the Saints started to move and started to pick up the pieces, started to climb back, that game showed that Case Keenum couldn't put the final nail in the coffin. He couldn't. And when the Saints got close, he started getting a little too loose with the ball, gave up that interception, and it started getting a little
interception was bad.
A little scrappy.
That
You
was
know what I'm
really
saying?
Hey, listen, even the play before that catch, I mean, everybody was talking like it's over.
Yeah.
It is over. And then it just, I mean, Joe Buck never has a reaction to a play.
No.
And he went absolutely apeshit because you just didn't see that kind of a miracle. And it was the Minnesota miracle happen.
Oh, another factor, Kai Forbath. Kai Forbath has been inconsistent.
Yeah.
Now he's got to kick outside.
He's got to kick outside.
As someone said to me, there is only one Minnesota Miracle Man, and that is Gordon Bombay.
It is Gordon
Anyway.
Bombay. You're right. They should all come out in Bombay jerseys.
Oh, God.
If the Eagles are able to get off an interception or even a fumble, that first turnover in the Eagles' favor, I might go more crazy than if the Eagles score a touchdown. Because I know touchdowns are more meaningful than a turnover in our favor. But listen, like I said, you just get one. Open up the floodgates.
Absolutely, I agree. I'm going to read this last Facebook comment that just came in, and then we're going to let Paulie, unless you have anything on there, we're going to let Paulie
I have a
jump in and
bunch
do
of
this
stuff,
thing.
but I mean, like, yeah.
I say no. How about this? Because
Brandon-
it's in the NFC freaking championship game. Read all the comments. Let's comment on that.
All
We'll
right.
close it out.
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
all right. Well, Paulie's going to have plenty of prospects for us
Yeah,
as the
there's
season,
plenty
as
of
the
stuff
offseason
going
goes
on.
on. All right, so I'm going to finish it up here with Brandon Jays. What about the fact that we were at home and had an extra day off than the Vikings? And he predicts his player of the game is going to be Nelson Aguilar.
That's a good pick.
Got to get him the
I
ball
like
more.
Nelson.
That's a good pick.
I'm going to go with Zach Ertz. I know it's a tough matchup, but I feel like Ertz is going to man up this week, and I think that he's going to be a difference maker.
My guy's Brandon Graham this week.
Brandon Graham.
I think Brandon Graham's going to be in Case Keenum's face an awful lot.
Okay.
I'm going to go with who I've been going with, Ajayi. I can't stop now. Wearing his jersey. Well, shout out to my fiance, by the way, who surprised me on Friday night with an Ajayi jersey. It's not Westbrook. It's actually not Westbrook. I know.
He broke
It's
his
Ajayi.
tradition.
Well, if the fiance buys you an Ajayi jersey, you wear the Ajayi jersey.
yeah,
so,
Mary would kick your ass if you didn't.
if I didn't wear it. So
How about this for a player of the game? How about Derek Barnett?
I like it.
I like it. I
Full
like
circle
that.
if you talk about the certain pick that they used to get him.
Ah.
Storyline.
Storylines. We love our subplots in the playoffs, don't we? God, you want to finish up on
let's
YouTube
go.
there?
All right. So Renee Ballard, we'll start with. I love
Renee.
Renee's comments. Renee, you're awesome. Renee Ballard, yo, I was impressed with Darby in this game. I love me some Mills though, but Darby is making me tingle. His confidence and football IQ in himself, as well as Mills, is great to see. Sixers JT, Antonio Brown is great, but Odell and AJ are amazing with those one-on-one jump ball passes. Something I'd take over speed receiver any day. But that's where he's not a speed receiver.
No.
And you're grossly underestimating Antonio Brown's 50-50 ability when it comes to those catches. Like
He doesn't catch a lot of 50-50 balls because he beats most
of
defensive
them.
backs.
But when he does, when he makes contested catches, when he has to make a contested catch, he makes the contested catch. Be careful what you pursue. Says Vikings better enjoy their cozy, climate-controlled, and postmodern architectural turn of a stadium. Come Sunday night, they'll be consumed by the chaos of the link. Go Birds! I love that.
that might have been like our
That's
best
great.
comment of the night. That's amazing.
Bleeding Green says it's football intelligence Brown has, which is way more important. Thank you, Bleeding Green. Yes. Sixers JT, out DeAndre Hopkins in the spot Antonio Brown is in, and he would look exactly the same. No, he would.
And I like DeAndre Hopkins.
I love
a lot,
DeAndre
but
Hopkins.
Nah.
To me, DeAndre Hopkins is arguably a top 5 receiver, but I don't think so. He doesn't. Beating Green says Pat's gonna get 2 strong D's in a row. Regardless, he's not guaranteed the Super Bowl. I think that he's talking about Tom Brady. Sixers JT says Matt Ryan overthrew Julio on the last play.
But he had no. Stop it. He's completely covered.
Can I say one thing on that, though? If that was Aaron Rodgers, if that's Tom Brady, if that's the high-profile quarterbacks, and you see that at the end of the game in a playoff game, and it's first down right by the end zone, an opportunity to win the game on the road, and he doesn't do it, they would be crucified.
Absolutely.
You know this.
No, and the point that Matt Ryan has underachieved, I definitely don't disagree with
he
that
has
point
underachieved.
at all. He has.
He has underachieved, yes.
But if you're going to call him out for that last throw, first of all, again, as we discussed, terrible, terrible play call and design for a fourth down and goal play on the last play of the game.
Yeah.
Second of all, Jalen Mills is right there. Where the hell is he supposed to put the ball?
Yeah.
There was he put it in the best possible spot. There was nowhere else he could have put that damn thing.
Yeah.
I just look at it as if Matt, and I'm not saying anyone here is saying it, but if Matt Ryan is going to be compared to Aaron Rodgers as being the guy, lockdown top 5 quarterback,
he's not.
Regardless of the ins and outs of the play calling, if you have the quarterback with a number 1 wide receiver like that, you have to get points. You have to.
He's not on that level.
He is.
I know.
He's
I know.
The next tier.
I know.
He's the top of the next tier to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next
I agree.
tier.
Yeah.
I agree.
David Bibb says, "What's up, Eagles fans?"
What's up, David?
Bleeding Green says Mills needs more credit for getting his hand right in Julio's line of sight, which is 100% true. Sixers JT says QB is a fair argument. I hate the Pats, but why the hell do guys like Wes Welker look amazing in one system and like shit in the other? It's because of the system. It's because of how they use certain guys.
Well, when Welker was there, Randy Moss was out there on the outside taking an awful lot of attention away.
And then it's systems are different. They tailor to certain strengths of players differently, and a system that's so successful like the Patriots, they take what players do well and they magnify and they use that to their advantage better than any other system. Renee Ballard says, yes, but I felt like he could have jumped a little higher too. However, you get it done though. You are right. He deserves more credit. And for driving him to the bounds line, he would have come down. Let's see. Bleeding Green says, although you never know with their talent, if he would have caught it. He might have forced his get back in. But I actually think he stepped out before any of that, which means even if he did catch it, it would have counted regardless.
I'd have to look. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That.
I mean, where his feet came down, it looked like he
was
way out of. He wasn't going to have a chance to finish with his feet in bounds, even if he catches it.
Yeah. So Damn Clutch says, so let's just say Jags beat Pats and we beat Vikes. Think we'll be underdogs to Jags?
We are. It already came out.
We will always be underdogs, which is good.
I think it was 2.5 points, but yeah.
Edgar Venzer says 28-16 Eagles, costly fourth quarter turnover, which is what we were talking about. I think everything else is just thing. Yeah.
All right.
There are a lot of comments, but yeah, YouTube guys again. Thanks for you guys were great.
YouTube, Facebook, you guys were awesome yet again. Thank you, Ryan, for producing a fantastic show as you always do.
No problem, guys.
Thank you, Charles, for being here with your hands in your pockets, looking like you're holding your junk.
Hey, I'm cold. Okay.
Thank you.
Freaking cold.
Thank you.
Jacket.
Thank you, Paulie. Again, Paulie from NBC Sports Philadelphia, contributing to our show. Always great conversation with you guys. I'm Chrome. Thanks, Gibson Mayer LLC. Thank you, BMW Atlantic City, for sponsoring the studio here. Thank you, StreamSmart. Thank you, Scanzano Sports. Thank you guys for driving the show yet again, like you always do with the conversations. Guys, it's playoff week, NFC Championship week. Check out all the shows this week. There's so many great personalities on here. You're going to hear a lot of good shit on this station this week, guys. So thanks again. Enjoy it. Let's go, Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Underdogs, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's go.
Find a way.
Wear your masks. Wear your mask.